just wants to scoot in closer.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
Be a part of the crew, Andy.
I guess.
I thought I was just coming here to, like, watch you guys talk.
Actually, no.
That's
That'd
it.
be
But
perfect.
not the watching
no,
part.
Andy, that's perfect. You just sit there and play Zelda, and when you feel like making a comment,
Sit
you do.
there quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just totally offhand comments. You're just sitting there playing Zelda, and it's just like, oh shit, that place looks super cool. And it's like, dude, we're talking about like Marvel vs. Capcom. What the hell are you talking about? It's like, oh, there's this cool desert area.
Yeah.
I don't
What
give
the
a
fuck is
shit.
that giant-ass thing
I
over
don't
there?
give a shit about what you're talking about. There's Zelda going on here. Welcome to episode 1 of the podcast, everybody. It's been recording for a few minutes now.
That's fine.
Yeah, why do you think...
That's the best.
I noticed
I
that.
do
You know, I
everything
figured it was
intentionally.
because
Of
that's how you're
course.
supposed to start the podcast.
Mhm.
Except when it's
You don't
not.
tell us when it
No,
starts.
God, no. Absolutely not.
I've learned through this
It's
already.
a surprise all day,
Yeah.
every day. Alright, everybody, welcome. This is the first episode of the cast of n00bles. We're going to see how this goes. We're going to see like how the pacing
Title
works.
might be in work.
The title is Set in Stone. Set in Stone.
Well, when
Whatever.
you say stone, there are many kinds of stone.
There are.
Technically, clay is a form of stone, a very soft form.
You're a stone.
We're not stoned.
The Rock is a form of stone. Dwayne Johnson says so.
That's true.
He is very, very soft.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Gentle beast.
He looks pretty hard to me.
Oh gosh.
I don't know.
You looking to see if he's hard or not?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Tim, you got
No, I'll
competition.
help her. Screw it.
Andy, if
You would help her screw it, so he's not a person anymore? Is that
No,
what-
yeah,
Wow.
I'm objectifying The Rock as a rock. That was how this conversation started. Anyway, yeah, so basically what we're going to be doing here is we'll kind of start off the podcast just by going through all of our weeks, talking about what we've been doing, what we've been playing, all that stuff. We'll go on to just various news articles and gaming and pop culture news and stuff. We'll have like a topic or two that we'll talk about for a little bit, and then we'll just kind of say stuff that we're looking forward to, stuff that's coming up. So, yeah, for everyone who's like totally new to this, I know there's people who like watch our Twitch channel and stuff, but if anyone's just stumbling into this, I am Tim.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Kevin.
Wow,
Hi,
really?
Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
You
I'm
gotta
here
commit to
against
that.
my will.
You gotta commit to that. You gotta do that like the entire podcast
Yeah, the whole
now.
rest of the thing.
Every single minute of it.
I'm down.
You already screwed it up!
You had one job, Kevin.
You had
One
one chance
job.
at this.
Damn it.
Alright.
There it
Alright,
goes.
episode
Bye.
over. We'll
This-
start this again next week.
This is a 3-person podcast now.
Oh my god. This is going great.
Anyway, the last person there who didn't just leave is Andy. He didn't introduce himself. He's being held captive.
They don't need to know who I am.
They need to know.
I can
The
just be
world needs
a
to
voice.
know.
It could have been a running gag.
He's a
Who the
announcer,
fuck is
man.
this guy that chimes in that nobody refers to?
You know,
some dude in the
actually,
background.
there was a radio show. It was called Sarah and No Name for a very long time.
Wow.
Yep.
Did they eventually name them?
They eventually... Well, it was Sarah and then her partner No Name. And then finally, eventually, they just came out with it.
Just gave them a name, huh?
He had a name.
Okay.
They just decided not to say his name for whatever
What a
reason.
bunch of quitters.
I know.
Right.
They had a good thing going.
Yeah.
Could have ended the show on a good note, giving the audience no satisfaction.
Just
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
No finalization
Do you want
on
me to
that.
tell you
No
what his name
closer.
is?
Was it Sarah and Vinny?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sarah and Vinny.
Used to be No Name, huh?
Yeah, used to be Sarah and No Name.
Should have been No Name.
Mm-hmm. They have their quirk, you know.
Is
Seriously.
no name anything like no face?
Hopefully less depressing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What else do you want from that?
So if you missed it, I'm Kevin. I'm sorry for anything I do.
Okay.
They
No,
accept
you're
it.
not.
Well,
No, you're not.
you know, I'll take that apology.
So who wants to start? Who wants to talk about what they've been up to for the
You know
week?
what, Tim? How about you talk about your week first?
I will
Okay,
talk
Tim,
about
talk
my
about
week.
yourself.
All right. So I've been. Let's see here. Been playing a lot of Mario Kart because that came out. That's been pretty good.
Yeah, so how's your $60 DLC?
It's expensive.
It's
You're right.
expensive.
You're right. It's DLC, but like it's It's a thing where you can take the Switch on the go, so I can kind of forgive it for that. And the battle mode is what it should have been on the Wii U, so like that's cool.
See,
and
I would argue this isn't DLC just because
you haven't played the original.
I haven't played the
Yeah.
original version.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have been
I can
absent
accept
from
that.
Nintendo
That is fine
for
with
like
me.
2 consoles.
Mhm.
I have a Wii, barely touched it.
Yeah, fair.
And then I gave it away. Didn't get a Wii U. So as far as I know, this is what the game is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
basically.
good. It's a good Mario.
Yeah.
Kart.
You know what's really interesting is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the fastest selling Mario Kart game of all time.
Yeah,
is
I can see
crazy.
that.
Which speaks numbers about the Wii U's performance.
Well, to me, it's interesting because I don't know how it's the fastest selling one if the Switch, I don't know, there were supply issues with it, so obviously
There
numbers.
are and there aren't, I guess. Like it's selling out in hours, not
Yeah.
days, obviously, but it still seems like they're pushing a lot of them out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just that there's a really high demand.
Sure.
It doesn't feel like the Wii where it's like every store is getting like a handful.
Right.
Like there's stores that are getting hundreds and stuff.
Yeah, but also I noticed too, for example, like Zelda outsold the Switch because people bought the copy of the game before getting the Switch itself.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the game's a
Yeah.
lot more it's
Easier to get.
Way easier
Yeah,
to get,
so I
you're
think
right.
people might have done that if they're not going to get a Switch right away. Like, I plan on getting one. I'll buy Mario Kart. I want it anyways.
Interesting.
Same with
Okay.
Zelda.
I was
Okay.
reading an article kind of tying into this whole Switch thing because I just bought a Switch this last week, like a couple days ago, and I didn't know for right away. Apparently, Nintendo still for the Switch isn't, at least right now, going to do any kind of cloud account recognition.
True.
Yeah, I'm not
So like,
surprised at that at all.
if your Nintendo Switch, gets broken for whatever reason,
Yeah.
not even if it's your fault,
Yeah,
but like
you
you
lose
have to get a
everything.
new one. If any digital games you buy, you have to buy them all over again.
No, they're tied to your account now.
They are.
Yeah, they're tied to
saw-
your
I saw an
account.
article
You'll lose like
posted
save
yesterday.
data and stuff.
Yeah.
You're not getting that back.
Well, I know that. That
Mhm.
wouldn't be the case, but I saw that you can't. You would have to rebuy them.
No,
So
that's
there is
not
an
the
account
case
system
anymore.
then.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they
Yeah,
finally
that's
did.
good.
Yeah, that was the problem with
I
the
heard that
Wii
was
U.
something.
That was a problem with the
okay.
Wii U and a problem with the 3DS.
Well, that's
It's
actually
system
very nice.
based and
Yeah.
not account based, which was
That's actually very
garbage.
nice.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, because I think that when you sign in, it asks you to put in your, I don't know, club, your Nintendo ID.
Yeah, I had to,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had to
tied to
create
that.
a
Yeah, I'm not
Nintendo
sure.
account.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
okay, I guess that's what that's for then. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, you should be okay for that.
But no, wait, did the Wii U? The Wii U didn't have that.
Oh
right?
God, no,
Yeah,
no, it
so,
didn't.
we lost stuff. I don't know.
I mean, that's a different thing though. We just lost it because I deleted it by
Yeah.
accident.
Yeah.
But no, something would be if our Wii U was busted beyond repair and we couldn't even start it up or anything, we wouldn't be able to re-download those games on another console.
Yeah.
Despite that, we'd sign in and everything.
Well, the
That's why the 3DS has that transfer system
yeah.
thing,
Mhm.
and why it's terrible.
Well, I remember when my Wii things happened to it, and then I bought a new one, and I think I was gonna just buckle down and buy Paper Mario because I just really wanted to have a copy on Virtual Console.
For sure.
And so I click, and it just says download. It doesn't say anything about purchasing it. And so I hit download, and I realized that there were a ton of pre-bought games on this pre-owned Wii that I had.
And they just didn't clear that out at all.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I got Majora's Mask
Okay.
for free, Yoshi's Story, Paper Mario, and I
That's
think
nice.
Super Smash Brothers.
Seriously,
one
you
of-
won the lottery out of that.
I got
Yeah.
really lucky in a similar way back in the beginning of high school, right afterwards. I was late to get a Nintendo 64, so I got a 64 for Christmas. I want to say 2001,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then I went out to thrift shops to buy used games and stuff like that, like GoldenEye and
all the-
Ocarina of Time.
Mhm.
I got super lucky. I bought a copy of Ocarina of Time, and somebody had torn off half the label and just wrote on a white square sticker Ben. And I'm like, okay, well, thanks a lot, Ben, but I just wanted a game. So I go to plug the game in. It had 2 save states. One was 99% complete, and the other was 48% complete.
Wow.
So all I had to do was like
And both of those files were cursed by a drowned child.
Yes. the
Right?
origin of copy foster horror. You know?
Yeah.
Were you actually going there? Or?
No, I
it was
actually
just,
wasn't.
It was just coincidentally Ben.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
coincidence.
Great.
There's just some dude who wrote Ben on it, and I'm like, oh well, thanks a lot.
I seriously thought you were going to copy.
No, I'm
foster.
not going with the copy foster. No, I just like coincidentally somebody left these mostly complete saves on there, and I was like, well, shit, I'm just gonna start a new save and like get to know the basic mechanics,
Yeah,
and
makes
then
sense.
get a free win.
I remember doing
Jeez.
that renting games a lot.
Yeah.
Like back when that
Oh,
was
yeah.
kind of a thing, and like the Genesis and Super Nintendo just had like save files on the cartridge
Yeah.
instead of through like a memory card.
Yeah.
So I got to play like a bunch of Ocarina of Time like late game before I really knew what I was doing with that game. I got to play it like you know
really?
yeah just like a bunch of things where like I wasn't necessarily familiar with the game or good enough to really get that far at that point. But I
Yeah.
got to check out later game stuff to see like what would happen. And it was pretty neat.
I tried doing that once for like GoldenEye, but I guess nobody ever bothered to beat like the main storyline for it.
Oh yeah, everyone
It's really a
plays.
big multiplayer.
Oh
game,
yeah, it's
so
just
yeah.
multiplayer.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, aside from Mario Kart, been playing a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay, that's
And
good.
yeah, that's been pretty interesting so far. I haven't gotten super far on it or anything, but I'm like still in kind of like the starting phase,
Okay.
I guess. So I just
Have
like
you done the proving yet?
no, I'm like
Okay.
right there.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
right there. So I just need to get in and I have to do the proving thing.
Yeah.
But I'm liking the mechanics so far. It's just that like it's similar to Breath of the Wild in my mind in the
Yeah,
sense
I
that
can
it's
see
this
that.
big open world and I've got like a bow and arrow, so I keep
Yeah.
confusing the controls of the two.
Yeah, maybe tell me about
And
that.
it's mainly a thing where it's like in Breath of the Wild, you just like hold the right trigger to bring out your bow and release to shoot.
Yeah.
But with Horizon, you got to iron sight it, so you got to hit left trigger to bring out the bow, and
I
then
mean, you have to aim.
yeah, no, not even aim. No, it's not like an aim. It's just
Yeah,
like
no.
you have to like bring out the bow with one
Yeah.
trigger and then like pull and release with the other.
Yeah.
So I keep accidentally doing melee attacks while I'm trying to sneak up on shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's really awkward.
Whoops.
Aside from that, like I'm having a lot of fun with it.
That's
aside
good.
from just, it's not even control issues. It's just me not being used to controls yet. So
So
Yeah,
we'll
it
see
takes a
how
little
it goes.
time.
sorry to bring it back to Breath of the Wild. This is something that was just pissing me off to no end today while I was doing laundry and playing the game. How the fuck do you kill a boar? Because I
Oh.
can't get near enough one or with a bow and kill it to
Really?
save my goddamn life.
Just stealth it, maybe get some stealth gear or something. Some stealth like potions.
I've snuck up on it, and it's not even looking at me. I take one shot, and it instantly blitzes
Just
off
bolts.
until it despawns.
Maybe
Huh.
just get some more powerful stuff. Then I don't know what to tell you.
I guess.
So are you just like shooting air? Like, are you just missing? Or
They have a decent- no, they have a
kidding,
decent
like,
amount of
dead
health.
on, but it doesn't kill it in one shot.
Yeah, they have a decent
Yeah.
amount of health, and at the point of the game Andy's in, like you don't have any good damaging weapons at all.
My
Yeah.
problem is that in order to get to the ice trial cave thing,
Yeah.
I need cold resistance, and I need to get like boar meat to get a wool cloak, from the old man, so that I can go into the ice caves.
Oh wait, what?
he needs that?
If you get boar meat, you can make like spicy food that gives you you a thing.
Oh.
But if you give that to the old man, he'll just give you a wool cloak that ups your cold protection,
Yeah,
so you don't have to keep eating hot food.
Yeah, like a
Oh,
warm
okay.
doublet or warm
So I'm trying to
souffle.
get this fucking cloak, and I can't kill a boar to save my life.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
like if you get enough of the spicy peppers, you can just cook like a bunch of those in a meal
Yeah, I
with
just don't
like
want to
one
have to
other
keep
thing.
stopping every
Well,
finish
no,
or
no,
waste
it's
the health
no.
that they
You'll use it, and it'll last like a good 9-10 minutes or so. Like
Well,
if you put a bunch of them in there, you
give.
get like
put
four.
a bunch of peppers into one dish.
Yeah, exactly. The effect
Okay.
kind of stacks. So you put
Yeah.
like 4 spicy peppers and then just like a mushroom or something.
I didn't know it worked that well.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
Alternatively, you could do what Dan did and just carry a torch through it.
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm not a chicken like Dan, and I want to
That's
fight
an
the enemies
idea.
that are there.
Fair.
That's true. He's
Yeah.
super chickened out.
Dan, it's not even that he chickens. I'm sorry, Dan, but
Yeah.
he likes to just go to the objective. He's a very straightforward player.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. But no, I thought it was a really interesting like alternative to that.
Oh yeah,
Where it's
I
just
tried
like, yeah,
that,
I
but
could.
like the moment I ran into any enemies, I was like,
You have to put it down or put it
Yeah.
away or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful doing
Yeah.
that. I'm surprised you made it all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, aside from that, like, not really a whole lot. I think those are, like, the two big games I've been invested in lately.
Yeah.
Let's circle around. How should we do this? Who's next?
Alright.
Kevin.
Kevin will be next.
Kevin's next!
Why?
I don't know. I've been having a good day, I guess, or
Okay.
something. I'd like to mess around
Great.
when I was happy. Make me depressed. I'll be quiet.
Okay.
Okay.
Kevin,
Yeah.
I don't care about your day. Andy, how have you been?
I
No, let's go back
just
to
fine.
Let's go back to Kevin.
Okay. Well, for the most part, one game I've been playing is Tales of Vesperia.
How's that been so far?
Oh.
I've been liking it. Like, I'm getting towards the end, because I looked like a guy just had to name up places in the order I'm supposed to go to it.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, I'm in, like, the fourth part of it. I just have, like, in every Tales game, you know, when they have, like, that plot twist or something happens. So I got to that part, so I know, like, okay, the first plot twist happened. Getting towards the end game now, then.
Yeah.
You know that's coming
That's
up.
like the 3/4 stretch.
Yeah. Once there's a big plot twist.
Yeah,
like
you'll have like one or two others, and
Yeah.
then that'll be it.
Yeah.
I feel like there were a lot in Symphonia. It was like, like, Colette's actually this thing, and like, like, this world is actually this.
That
and, like,
hot tea was cold,
and,
but the cold tea was hot.
and like, this person was actually evil, and like, there's just like all these like twists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few of those, but like you play enough Tales games, and it becomes so formulaic.
Yeah. They
Like
just know
every
what's
single
happening.
one of them is more or less the same story.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't played any since Exilia 2, which I really liked. But,
Yeah.
I've heard the newer ones are good.
Yeah.
There's some good
Distro didn't like that much.
JRPGs out there that
Yeah.
I'm meaning to step back into.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I did find one thing. So, like, in the game, you kind of have, like, a pirate crew working for you.
Okay.
Or you can send them out to look for, like, ingredients or, like, collectibles or stuff out there. And then find, like, the next
Okay.
island to go to.
Mhm.
So,
It's kind of like that Pokemon thing.
Yeah, kind of, where you
Sun
send them
Moon.
out.
Yeah.
But they went out and found an island.
Okay.
And it's the best island ever.
Is it?
Do you
is
want-
it Whore Island?
No.
Okay.
But in the shape of a certain character. Can you think about what character I would love
in a
so much?
Namco game? Oh, okay.
In a
You
Tales
would
game.
love.
It's in a Tipo shape.
It's Tipo Island.
Oh
Are
my
you
god,
serious?
that's the worst.
I was
I was-
so happy I had to stop for a second. and
B-
go like,
before
oh
you
my
said-
god.
Before you said a character that you specifically would love, it's just like it's a Namco game. It's Pac-Man Island, which I'm sure is a thing in there still.
Probably.
But, Tipo Island.
Yes.
What? God, that's like Tingle Island
Oh.
in Wind Waker, where you're
Mm.
just like, why? Oh,
Okay.
is he like? I forget the whole plot of Like, isn't he like what? Like a robot or like a monster?
He's like a magic catalyst for
Yeah.
Elise or something like that.
So,
It was
he's
kinda
like
weird.
the cat.
He's a stuffed doll, but like he comes to life.
It's
He's
a
like the
booster for humans. Like, if you have that doll, you'll be able to do magic.
He's
Right.
Magic Hobbs.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's a cool analogy. Way too cool for Tipo.
That's some fighting words there.
Yeah, no, but like it's basically what Lulu has, like in Final Fantasy.
Oh, the
X.
little like
Oh,
subniggle and whatnot.
yeah, kind of give it a boost of magic. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll say that. Like Lulu.
Okay.
But it's alive because magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Vivi.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
But Vivi's a doll too.
Yeah.
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 It's
Okay.
all brought to life by magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right,
so
Andy.
It's
like-
Gino.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I've just been playing that.
Man, that's just a trope. I never really
Yeah.
noticed that.
I guess
Dolls
so.
brought to life by
yeah.
magic.
It's the entirety of Rhapsody, a musical adventure.
Yeah.
You remember that game?
I own that game.
Oh, God, I love that game. I think I own it somewhere too.
Probably
It's a
somewhere
good
back
ass
there.
game. Yeah.
I played through that game a while back, like when I bought it in a used game shop.
Mhm.
It's good. It was not how I remembered. So then I remembered. Then I started remembering, like, okay, why is this not how I remember it? There was another game almost identical to it that was also a semi-musical, tactical, RPG, JRPG.
Okay.
That was very similar and it used, like, monsters or dolls or whatever.
What was it?
I don't know.
Huh.
I have been
okay.
trying to remember for
Okay.
ages.
What system? Do you know what system was that kind of
It was
for?
PlayStation.
Yeah.
PlayStation.
Because
Okay.
I remember it being nearly identical.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it Jade Cocoon maybe?
Jake and
No,
was like
I
a Pokemon thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I own
okay.
that game, and
Okay.
it's the best.
Yeah.
I need to find a good copy because dumb kid me let that game get fucked up over time.
That sucks.
Yeah,
Oh, dumb
I'll keep an eye out. I'll
as
let
a
you know if I
kid,
see anything.
Right?
Yeah.
All
Okay.
those things, that we thought, were indestructible.
No.
Uh,
Discs are not even close to that.
Yeah, I know, but as a kid, I thought, oh, if I just set it down carefully, that's all it.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no.
Well, that's all about my week.
Okay.
Andy, how's your week?
My week's been all right. Let's see. I got the Switch. I've been playing a lot of that.
True.
Trying to unplug just because I got really lucky in Overwatch and I got enough coins to buy anything I wanted, and then I got in the first week and a half, almost 2 weeks of the event, Uprising event, the two things that I wanted out of this entire event. So I kind of stopped playing for the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
Well, which
Yeah.
thing
Just
did
save
you
up, I
want?
guess.
I wanted super work casual Torbjorn
That's a
with
good one.
the no beard, just some
The
button
butt chin.
shops,
Yeah.
not even a mesh Overwatch special shirt.
Just
It's
his
a-
grungy
a
ass wife
regular
beater.
sweaty tank top.
Yeah.
And he's got earbuds in, and he's just super not like any other character in the game.
I like
where
that
they're
one.
all serious, even in their
Yeah.
wacky outfits.
Mhm.
And then I got the diva.
The selfie,
Selfie?
intro.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which
the
Okay.
I
intro.
find hilarious because it plays on the fact that she can't be murdered by her own.
She used to be
nuclear
able
bomb.
to. She used to be
I
able
know.
to early
Yeah,
game.
I know.
Which makes it even funnier.
I know.
No, that was the only thing in the entire event that I wanted that I actually got. I had to go in and actually spend all of my coins for the rest of it.
See, I got super set to buy stuff. I had
Mhm.
nearly 3,000 coins, and then I got up to 4,000, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll buy stuff if I have to." And then bam, bam, got the shit I needed.
I really liked the event game that they brought in, but
Yeah.
as far as new items and gear and whatnot, I think this is the only event where I wasn't tempted to buy loot boxes at all.
Yeah,
It was just okay, I want the Diva highlight intro, I got it. I want the Mercy skin, I'll just buy that with coins. I wanted a couple voice lines, and I wanted Soldier's push-up emote.
Oh yeah.
Because that combines with Anna's sleep dart way too well.
Dude, that combines with a lot of things way
I'm sure it
too
does.
well.
I'm sure it does. Junkrat's sitting pose, maybe?
Yeah, no, there's some good stuff there. Let's see. Aside from that, I bought just because I have some friends that play Black Desert, and I've been getting ready to sit
Oh
down.
shit,
and
that game
dive
came
in.
out, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
Well,
I messed with
yeah.
it.
it's been out for a while.
It's that game that has that incredible character creator.
yeah,
Just that
it's-
really, really good detailed
It's like
looking.
it's like Morrowind
Wait.
level detail character creator,
I
but
downloaded
it's gender
the
locked.
I downloaded the character creator
Yeah.
specifically.
The
They
classes
released
are
that
gender
early.
locked, so there's only so much
That's a
you
long
can
time
do
ago.
to kind of
Yeah.
rearrange
Yeah.
stuff. There's only so many types of faces and aging features and stuff.
Yeah, but I
It's
mean,
a-
they
it's a
just
pretty
give you
detail.
they give you a ton of options
Yeah.
for customization though. It's
But
really,
I'm looking
really
forward to it
nice.
just because I've seen a lot of gameplay and I know people who play it,
Okay.
and it's
I don't know anything about
very
the game itself.
it's very different from WoW. It's not a standard MMO.
Is it just like
Okay.
a paid subscription thing? Or?
No, you buy the game.
Oh, that's
there are
it?
3 tiers of purchase. You can just buy the basic $9.99 entrance into the game.
It's a $10 game, really?
It's a $10 game.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, or you can spend $29.99. You get the game plus some extras.
Mhm.
The game works. It takes the idea of World of Warcraft's combat and economy kind of to the maximum. Where those are the focal points of the game. Is PvP, a little bit PvE, and then the economy, resource gathering, because you're fighting for control of resource spots with other characters and guilds and things like that.
Okay.
So it's much more coordinated than I feel WoW is, because WoW people get together and they're in guilds, but it's mostly people running around in very small groups doing things, and then they get together for these big
The big
Yeah,
events, and
on
then they break
dungeons
up
and
after
bosses,
that.
whereas
Yeah.
Okay.
with this, from what I've seen, it's people can run around on their own, or they will go to join in on a fight for clan, their guild points, to get their own personal stuff out of a guild fight, or to get control of an optimal resource mining spot.
Okay.
And so you can control that, and then you can, as the game goes on, instead of you constantly every single type of resource for gear or other things, instead of mining it all yourself, you can invest in nodes, air quotes, and these nodes, you invest them into like towns and connections between towns and locations and things like that. And the more you invest in the game and the community and the resources, the more, I guess just say, influence you get. And you can use that to send people to these different locations to go get the resources for you, to spend time mining stuff. And you can use the stuff they bring you back for, making items, or for the money, that you sell the items for, to buy, like a house in a really nice part of town, and you build that into a guild hall kind of a thing.
All right.
And so it's like a really, like, the more you invest into the game, the more you get out of it personally, as opposed to WoW, where there is a cap to what you can accomplish in the game. It's just kind of a continual thing. And they changed things up, so instead of like, like how there's a guild bank and in like most MMOs, and people can share items between each other. It's like that for all of the characters you create. So you create. The first character you level is the hardest one from what I've seen. You play the game, you get all the money, all the equipment, things like that. Then you leave that in your own like personal bank. And when you create a new character, you can give them like all of the money they need to start like power leveling.
Ragnarok Online had something like that.
So it's like that.
Personal storage.
It's like that. So it's got some really cool things. So I'm playing a bit of Zelda right now to kind of like kill some time. Then once I'm done there,
it's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm killing some time this week because I'm about to start work, so I didn't want to jump into an MMO right away.
Get too addicted to it.
Exactly. So once this upcoming work week's done, I'm going to start playing some Black Desert. It's going to be fun.
Nice. Yeah, let me know about that.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
The whole like influence thing reminds me of The Sims, where the more friends that you get, if you talk to someone, you can influence them and be like, "Hey, I want you to go kiss that person."
Whoa.
And then they'll go do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
peer pressure.
There is
Ride
a
together, we
subreddit
died together.
that you should go check out of the worst thing I've ever done in The Sims.
Oh God.
And people do some, not even just like the, I made a sim get into a pool and I took away the exit.
That's entry level garbage.
That is, people do weird things. Like they really dive deep into the game and the psychology.
One of my favorites was this one guy that made this just perfectly normal family, and had like this child that was like a goblin, like a literal goblin that was locked in the basement. Just locked up in the basement, and all they did was make pictures, and they were really good at art, and they just painted pictures over and over and over again. And they'd sell these pictures, and the family upstairs would get rich, and they'd have no idea where this money would come from.
So like, the idea is they trapped the kid down there, and they stripped away, they gave them a refrigerator and like a toaster, so they could...
The basic essentials.
Very, very basic essentials. Nothing they could cook with to get cooking skill, just like a toaster. And then the only source of entertainment was painting. So that is literally, they learned to start loving painting. That's all they wanted to do. So it's just a painting machine, and the more you leave them to do something, the better they get at it. So eventually he became fucking Monet. He became Michelangelo, selling these goddamn masterpieces.
Yeah, but he was just this child goblin locked in the basement.
and on above, just like one story above, is a mansion, a many-storied mansion.
They're living super well off of
built for them.
Oh my God!
My favorite thing ever is looking at patch notes for The Sims, and like taken out of context is just the weirdest thing ever. Just like weird stuff like women can't get pregnant from the Grim Reaper anymore, or things like that. Just weird things,
Why not?
It's
I don't know. Death Child could be interesting.
Maybe.
That's a book series.
Wow.
Yeah.
I believe that.
So Christopher Moore, one of my favorite authors, he does comedy horror most of the time.
Yeah.
And so he has like I think he plans on making a 3-book series about this guy who basically becomes a kind of Grim Reaper, where when somebody dies, he like goes up and touches them, and like he absorbs their soul, and then he puts it in an object and sells it in his like antique shop for someone to kind of come and pick up, and then they absorb that soul. And then
What?
he starts to think like he's an actual like the full on Grim Reaper as the book goes on, and he finds out that no, actually the daughter that he had shortly after this happened is now like an actual Great Death, Grim Reaper, macabre, otherworldly force.
Whoa.
And like, you know, these two dogs from the underworld show up to be her like pets / guardians.
All right.
Okay.
It's really weird and funny. He's a good author.
Interesting.
He lives near here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he lives near
That's
here.
true.
He comes to Copperfield Books in Petaluma
Yeah.
a lot.
Oh my god.
Like almost every book tour he does, he comes by Copperfield like once or twice.
Dude, that is so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I've gotten a book signed by him. I saw it once. I can't remember where, but it was just. I thought it was a really funny idea of having something signed multiple times by the same person. Just like
Like a collection.
yeah,
going.
just like
Right.
a thrice signed object. And so he's like, the second time I brought him to sign this one book for him to sign, he's like, wait, I think. This is my signature in here already. I'm like, yeah, I wanted to get it again. This is the
Load it
book.
up.
This is the first book I ever had you sign for me.
Every
He's
single
like,
page, front to back.
oh,
Just sign them all.
So he's
I'll-
like,
I'll be back
yeah,
in a couple
sure. And
months.
sure enough, I came to him a third time with the same book, and he's like, "Oh, I actually remember you."
Oh my god,
And
that's
so
awesome.
he's like,
That's
"I'll
what
be
you
sure to
do.
use
Oh,
a
yeah.
different pen
Yeah.
this time." And he cracked open like a different color pen.
That's
For sure. That's
amazing.
how you get them to remember.
Yeah.
Honestly,
That's awesome.
pretty
Yeah.
great.
Wow. I don't know. The only story that I remember was like this crazy thing. Like I think it was on a forum that you were a part of. Maybe, I don't know if it was from that, but it was like this this like father and this daughter, and the dad is homeless, and like the father and the daughter are homeless, and it's a Sims 4 game or Sims 3 or 4.
I think it was 4.
Yeah, but the kind of crazy stuff that ends up happening, that it's a drama. It's seriously like this soap opera of like...
Like they could have made a movie out of that shit. It was
They
so,
could
it
have.
was too real.
It was, and especially because like the speech bubbles that they have for The Sims, you can take a lot of context out of it, you know, like
Yeah.
just the little picture that you have.
More and more with the newer ones.
Mhm.
Yeah, because like the dad ends up like just being a total, you know, like sleazeball, and he's about to die. He's like on his deathbed, and so his only wish is to just apologize to all the people that he's wronged. And so, like, he goes, like, and tries to apologize to everybody, and, like, he, you know, will either get, like, a slap in the face, or some people are like, oh, like, it's okay, bro, like, you're gonna die soon, so no worries. And it was just really crazy.
This is awfully maudlin for The Sims.
I
right?
know!
Yeah,
I was
right?
like, what is this?
Yeah, it was like some Tumblr post or something I
So-
found a while back.
Kind of on a similar lines, there is this guy who does this art installation thing with GTA games, specifically GTA 4 and now 5, where he's created a mod of the game where instead of it following the players in the game, he loads up the character, the player character, and then he creates a custom mod where the camera leaves him and randomly follows citizens for set periods of time all around the city.
Huh.
So it's kind of like how there's this thing where and it's mostly on YouTube and a few other things where it's like Nebraska town whatever live, and it's cameras set up in that town. You know, like there are traffic cams and a few other like
Wow.
special cams where you can just watch what's going on
Following
in a
the
town.
lives
Yeah.
of NPCs and
You don't
stuff.
hear much, you know. You might see people walk across the street, or you know, you might see traffic get heavier,
Yeah.
or you see people playing in the park or something like that. But he's basically set that thing up, but for the entire city and all of the NPCs of San Andreas.
That's so
Where
weird.
these
Okay.
and he has it running 24/7.
Yeah.
Huh.
This is on right
Interesting.
now. You can
That's
go check
so
this out.
weird.
Where you can just go and watch for hours and hours what's going on with the NPCs. And they'll walk into walls. They'll go interact with other people.
Yeah.
They'll get into their own shit,
Mhm.
like
Huh.
almost like the players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Wow.
really weird.
Wow, I
Okay.
didn't know that.
It's like when they made Skyrim and Oblivion. Like Bethesda, for some reason, wants the world to feel so immersive that they created. And this is why there's like so fucking terrible when you open up the books and the lore in the books is garbage, because they spent endless hours actively detailing and making whole stories for NPCs that you will never see and interact and some of them are like
Oblivion did
one-time
that
events.
like crazy, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, there were like whole stories for NPCs that do these things, and it was just a one-time event. So if you're not there to see it, it never happens again. It's not like it happens every couple of days or something like that.
Oh.
And they did this for everybody.
Oh my
That's
god.
ridiculous.
That's
ridiculous.
why books in Skyrim and Oblivion are worse than like Axe Cop story writing.
Yeah. They're kind of like
Wow.
afterthoughts, like, oh yeah, we need to put stuff in this book.
I guess we need to
yeah.
you guys.
Someone just write stuff in there.
Yeah, just random idle thoughts.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Jessica, what you been up to?
Let's see. In terms of games, I've mostly just been playing Breath of the Wild.
Fair. Yeah, you surpassed my hour count on there.
I think that's just
No.
because I've been idling more than you have.
True,
Like,
probably.
I let the game just kind of like sit there for a while, let the screen go dark, and I haven't beaten the game yet. Actually, I've done all like 4 of the temples, I guess, but I haven't gone to defeat Ganon, and that's mostly because like I just really want to take the time to explore the world.
Still stuff to do.
Yeah.
There's just so much to see.
Get all those
I
Korok
saw-
seeds.
Speaking again, I saw a really interesting article, and I think you will have a good opinion on this, Tim. Is it time to retire, not necessarily Ganondorf, the specific character of Ganondorf, but time to retire the Beast Ganon
Nah,
as the villain?
I don't think so.
Because, like, the way I was reading this article is, like, it's always good to overcome this colossal monstrosity, but the fact that you're doing it every single time kind of turns Ganon, the Beast, the Calamity, into fucking Bowser.
Well, the thing
Your
with
pal,
that...
your buddy that you just hang out with every, couple of years.
Yeah.
He gets less and less intimidating, even in Breath of the Wild, when you do this every single time.
So 2 things about that. 2 things. First of all, they've done that before and no one cared. No one cares about Vati. No one cares about Girahim.
Who?
Exactly. Here. Well, whoever. See, that's how little I care.
Okay. Well, you haven't played Skyward Sword.
Also
so...
true. But yeah, like Skull Kid's an exception. People care about Skull Kid. He's
is
cool.
freaking
But there's
awesome.
been a good number of Zelda games that don't even have Ganon or Ganondorf in them at all.
Is a good example.
Aside from that, the second thing is there's been some pretty decent variations of Ganondorf. Like, it's not always the same thing,
That's
it's
true.
like the crazy beast that's in Breath of the Wild is totally different from like the calm, calculated Wind Waker one, which is totally different from the like evil, maniacal Ocarina of Time one.
I didn't play Wind Waker. Was that like a man like Ganondorf? Or
Yeah, it was Ganondorf.
Okay, so that's the thing, is there is a separation from Ganondorf, the actual villain archetype, which they sung the praises of, because he is a person that does things that make you love to hate him, and he's a good villain because whatever iteration Ganondorf has had, it's usually something that he's done, whereas Ganon the Beast, whenever Ganon the Beast shows up, it's just an animal, it's a force
They
that
don't
you
use
overcome.
him that often, though.
Okay, so...
And that's what they were saying, is like, it's great that this Ganon is great, but maybe they could come up with some new terrible beast calamity type thing.
I feel like he was pretty crazy in I'm not going to spoil anything because you haven't like played it and you haven't gotten to the end and all that stuff, but like true, but
you see him at the start of the game.
Yeah, but I mean that's a bit different from what you like spoilers. It's a little bit different from what
That's
you actually
fine.
see.
There's
in,
other
like,
forms.
I
But-
will... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
It was just that... Okay, so... Twilight Princess is a good example where you see both. And also Ocarina of Time, you do actually end up seeing both.
That's true, huh?
He starts off as Ganondorf, and then he turns into Ganon. And then same thing, actually kind of... Sort of like the reverse happened, like both happens, basically, in Twilight Princess. He, like, starts off as Ganondorf, and then he, like, morphs into the Beast with, like, Twilight and stuff, and then he turns back into Ganondorf.
If anything, I think he's been too beast-like. He's basically just a giant evil boar. And I want, like, the Zelda 1, the Link to the Past.
Oh.
I know, I want the, like, pig-man-beast combination thing. That's what I want.
I don't know,
I felt very in tune with this article. Just as someone who, like, I played a lot of the original NES, and I played Link to the Past, and then I skipped to Ocarina of Time, where you have this, like, actual...
You didn't skip, that was, like, literally the next one.
Well, yeah.
I didn't get Ocarina of Time before I played a different Zelda game in between.
Got it.
So, like, because other, like, some of the Game Boy ones came out and were playable by the time I got to play Ocarina of Time.
I don't think any of those had
the character of Ganondorf,
I don't think so.
like, before, like, his final fight where he turns into, you know, kind of Ganon and stuff, is just, like, he's such a better villain than, say, a Beast. Than just some disaster that befalls.
Well, the thing that I get from it is usually it's some sort of scenario where, like, Ganondorf, like, just ditches, like, any sort of humanity he has left in him and just goes full-on beast, like, literal beast mode. So, like, just this evil entity.
That is great when you've faced this horrible villain that then totally ditches his humanity and you're left with this utter evil.
Yeah.
But when you start with utter evil, there's really nowhere to go as a villain. Like, there's no more layers to dig. It's just that. It's just Calamity Ganon. And that's what they're saying is, like, it might be time...
I did really feel like Calamity Ganon was weak. Like, the weakest part of Breath of the Wild.
It just might be time, they're saying, to... You can continue to have this monstrosity evil, but, like, you could come up with something new. Like, maybe change up and, like... Instead of it being Ganon, this just generic purple, black, darkness, evil, you know, make it like the ultimate evil is this giant fire monster that's slowly burning the kingdom to the ground, you know, and you have and you could vary up the themes and, like, the elements to the game and have it be something that isn't so traditional.
Problem with that is you run into, like, the Sonic Adventure Monster of the Week kind of problem, where you just get these big, dumb... generic monsters that you just don't care about or have any connection to.
But Chaos was so cool.
No, not really.
What?
No.
Like, I liked cool. Chaos.
Out of all of them, Chaos is the coolest, but none of them are cool.
I don't know. From what I heard about Breath of the Wild, really, like, most of, like, all the new stuff they did amazing on. But all the Zelda stuff are kind of... They could have been better.
Ganon takes a huge backseat in Breath of the Wild. I will totally acknowledge that, and you're right on that sense.
That makes a Zelda game is kind of taking a backseat to all the new stuff, it seems like.
Yeah, they've made a killer game, no doubt. But it's kind of like... It's more like, oh, hey, we have taken the Zelda format and stuck it in, say, Skyrim.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
And, you know?
But, like, saying that they're overplaying Ganon, I feel, is completely ignoring Skull Kid, Vati, Garahim.
I guess I feel like I misspoke then. It's not necessarily that they've overplayed him, it's that they've shown they could do better.
Yeah.
And but they keep falling back on something that's kind of tired.
Yeah.
I think they want, like, a safe option. Like, they've done it so many times before, like, it's iconic now.
I think I understand why they did it for Breath of the Wild. They're going out on such a large limb.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know how people were going to react to this thing. Even though they saw it and thought it looked cool, they didn't know how people were going to react to the actual game. So they wanted a really simple story.
Right. It makes sense.
And that's fine. I'm just saying, like, now that they've shown they can do this extra stuff, I want a really good Ganondorf, you know, really good villain for a next big open Zelda game.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Something you can really... Something like, there's a million side quests, but I want a story so good that I will rather do the main quests rather than the side quests, which all other open world MMO, or not MMOs, but all their open world games drag you into. They drag you into the side quests. You forget about the main story most of the time.
Which is something that I think Breath of the Wild definitely is a part of.
The problem that I had with Calamity Ganon is, like, I enjoy the sense that, like, the ever-looming threat where you can see the castle from basically anywhere in the world, and you can see them, like, you know, hovering around it and everything. Aside from that, you don't really have any sort of connection to him. Like, anything as far as, like, this guy, like, killed a bunch of people, this guy destroyed Hyrule. All of it happened 100 years ago. You never saw any of it. You didn't get to really see what happened. And any sort of flashback scenario or any story you get is basically everybody going like, oh, that Calamity Ganon is a bad egg. And that's all
Yeah.
you get from it.
Yeah.
It's tell and not show.
Well, there's one scene.
It's not real strong though.
I don't know.
So I haven't gotten too deep into the game
I
yet,
know.
and this is something that they mentioned at the beginning of the game. I'm just curious if it's true. Like they say, oh, it's looming closer and closer. He's about to break out of the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Is there evidence of that
No.
around the game?
Nope.
So like as the further you go on, it doesn't show at all
No.
like he's about to
No.
break out.
No,
of the
not
castle.
even close.
No, that's why, like...
So
I mean,
that's something that I'm kind of disappointed about, because the moment they said that he's about to break out of the castle at any time, I'm like, oh, is this going to be like you can slowly, as you progress through the story, not necessarily just time you spend in the game, but as you
Yeah.
progress through the story, things start to draw closer. You get this
That'd be
almost
cool.
Majora's Mask sense of
Yeah.
impending,
Yeah.
Yeah.
finality
See,
to it.
that'd be awesome.
And that would be cool, but I
Yeah.
already knew when they said, "Oh, he might break out at any time." I'm like, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to give me that
Yeah.
sense of dread.
You never
Yeah.
really get that sense that like the end of the game is approaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was... I don't know. Let's talk more about this once you've beaten, gone further.
At
into
least
the
played a
game.
bit, yeah.
Because,
Alright.
there are things that I could say about the ending, but I don't want to for fear of spoilers.
Yeah.
You can save it.
Yeah.
Um,
While we're talking
that'll
about
be
Zelda,
next week.
though,
Yeah.
Well, actually,
one more thing.
yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, because aside from Breath of the Wild, like, the game that I don't want to say I've been avoiding it, but, like, is Ukulele. And Tim brought up the fact that I haven't played it at all, the PS4 version that I backed.
They're coming out with an update soon.
I know, I
Yeah.
read about it. I mean, I was, like... I immersed myself so much in Ukulele. I, got the soundtrack, I got a t-shirt, I backed, like, another Kickstarter so I could get socks. Like, it's my wallpaper. It's, like, it might as well, like, be a tattoo of it on me. Like, I was so, like, thrown into Ukulele. And I feel like
It's that oversaturation.
I
Yeah.
really oversaturated
Oh yeah, it's the
myself.
reason why I totally just cut myself off from it, and the reason why I've kind of cut myself off of Sonic Mania
Yeah.
is I don't want those ruined for me.
So,
Yeah.
like, I'm probably gonna pick it up. Like, I don't know when that update is coming out.
It's not a bad idea to wait for the update though.
Yeah.
I think
It
I
sounded
might-
like it might be like a couple weeks or so, not too long.
Yeah, so I'll probably, like, wait until that comes out and then
Okay.
pop it in.
Okay.
So, aside from that, that's pretty much all I've been up to.
Going back to Breath of the Wild, let's go ahead and jump into news here.
Yeah.
There was a Zelda Breath of the NES 2D fan game. So I don't know how many people are familiar.
I heard about this. Yeah.
Real quick, I don't know how many people are familiar about this, but one of the ways that Nintendo kind of visualized the actual Breath of the Wild was they made a game very similar to this. They made like an original NES Zelda game and kind of gave it like the open world properties and made it like this huge vast area. It almost looked like a Mario Maker thing, but like with Zelda and with new Zelda mechanics. And they kind of used that to visualize like how they wanted to make this new game.
Like 2D platformer, basically?
No, like the original Zelda. The original
the
one.
very original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I don't
first.
know what that...
It was like Link to the Past.
Okay.
Yeah, the top down thing,
okay,
top down.
okay.
So yeah, they made that, and someone thought that was a cool idea and would make an awesome game, and they started making a fan game of it. And like anything with the fan game, they announced it to the public and got slapped with a cease and desist. So,
what do you expect?
This was one of the first things that I popped onto the docket,
Yeah.
and I downloaded it like that day because I knew that by the time we were recording this, it would get cease and desist. And sure enough, like yesterday, I think
I'm
I
going
posted
to
that.
want a copy of that.
Yeah, I've got to download it. I haven't actually checked it out yet, but I was watching videos and everything. It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically Zelda 1, but they included, like, kind of more physics and everything, which is kind of nice. Like, you have the ability to chop down trees and to light things on fire and, like, other things that you would see in Breath of the Wild. You have, like, item collection. You've got all sorts of mechanics from Breath of the Wild.
Do you think that they, like, just took that as a base and then just, like, added stuff to it? Or do you think they built it from the ground up?
Well, I mean, it's a custom game, so like it's not like a raw
Nintendo
back
spent
or
money
anything.
developing this little game that no one was ever going to see to draw inspiration to make Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for the fan game. The fan game was this
yeah.
guy just created it from scratch.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it was from scratch.
Yeah, and I mean, he's using the original Zelda as a basis because that's the main idea behind it.
Yeah.
But it's not like a ROM hack or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
But, it looks interesting, honestly. I'm sure it's still up on the internet somewhere, if anyone's willing to, like, try an early copy or anything. But yeah, that shit. Like, guys, if you ever make a fan game, if you ever make anything like that, never announce it until you're done. Don't do that.
Never make Nintendo.
Specifically Nintendo. There's certain companies that are good about it.
Yeah, like
certain companies.
Sega's totally cool about it.
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of Sonic games. That's about it.
Yeah,
like,
there's a ton of
if
them.
you do it just like as a, this is an appreciation of the company. It all belongs to them. And if there have been a lot of fan games and fan like appreciation things like that. Like people go and make like remod 2D games into 3D games just to have like these cool, interesting like alternate perspective things.
Exactly.
And a lot of the companies are totally cool with it, except Nintendo.
Nintendo, Square, and Konami specifically like just hate that shit. They are ready to jump on the chance to take that.
They feel that their art is purest when they make it, even the bad shit, and that anybody who tries to make anything, even if it's good, takes away from their art.
Yeah, and it's a shame because there's been a lot of really cool fan projects that have been out there and that have been taken
both of those
down.
Massive Pokemon projects, they both got taken down in the last year.
AM2R was really good.
What was that?
Another Metroid 2 remake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they basically remade it in like a Metroid Zero Mission style. And the good news is they finished it and released it before they announced that it was a thing. So they actually managed to get the full game out, but after that they got slapped with a cease and desist.
Yeah. I guess it gives you a little time when you do that.
Exactly. And I mean, like that way you get the full product out.
I think the thing that bugs me though about the Nintendo and Square Enix and them just like clamping down so hard, it's like the majority of these things are non-profit.
Oh yeah, it's not like anyone's selling this.
Like
like
the
anyone's
most
trying to make a
these
living
people
off
get
of it.
is like some ad revenue that will go into their site or YouTube channels that generate ad revenue. But it's not like people are selling anything. They're not making a profit off of someone else's work.
They're not
their
making
own entertainment that they are providing.
Yeah. In most cases, they're not trying to make a replacement. They're trying to make a homage.
Yeah, it's just the copyright, but that's kind of one of those laws that's really like shaky of how it's just exactly work.
You start getting into fair use.
Fair use.
Nintendo could just be like, this is amazing, and just be like, man, look at how much our fans love us, that they made this thing. Check out this thing they made and how great it is in image of our work.
So you know how they remade Sonic CD not too long ago?
No.
Okay, so a guy named Christian Whitehead decided to, he a while back made his own custom Sonic engine in like C# or something like that. And it ran virtually identically to the original classic Genesis Sonic engines. He decided to kind of like put this to the test by recreating part of Sonic CD and putting it on iOS and releasing a video as a proof of concept. Sega saw this video and instead of slapping him with the cease and desist, went, hey, how would you like to release that for us?
Oh, and now you're talking about
Damn.
now.
And now he's making Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So like they released that, it sold like gangbusters. It's arguably the definitive version of that game. They made Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 for mobile, which were both also great. And now they're making a brand new game. And it's awesome. And like Sega nailed it, because they knew that's what the fans wanted because the fans were making it.
Yeah. That reminds me of like Capcom one, Resident Evil 2.
Oh yeah, the Resident Evil 2 remake project.
Yeah, that they were working on it, and then they'd be like, here's the cease and desist. But you want to make that game for us?
That's true. They're part of the actual Remake 2 team right now.
What's your ideas?
Pretty great.
Fly you out here.
Pretty great, yeah, something like that'll happen every once in a while. It's like Valve's pretty good about
rare.
Yeah.
It's actually happening more and more is the thing.
It is.
The only places it's not happening are these specific dickholes. And it's like,
for sure.
You love Nintendo for some of the best games, but they, as a company and the people behind it, do these super big dick moves. And it's like, why? You constantly talk about how much you love your fans, how much you show appreciation, and how much you love how your fans show appreciation, and then you drop the boot on people for trying to aspire to be like you.
Yeah.
But that's because they'll still come back either way. Look at the Switch.
No, and I get it. They're never Nintendo, especially now that they've finally gotten really back into the console market. Like the Switch is gonna be a big thing, especially like once they up the hardware a bit to maybe contend more. Mm-hmm. Like this is a really good showing just as is. They won't have to compete, but Gen 5 is coming out next year.
For what?
Consoles.
Oh yeah.
Really?
PS5 is rumored to be announced or released late next year.
No, I don't believe you for a second. Especially not when they're pumping out the PS4 Pro and whatever Project Scorpio Microsoft is working on.
So,
that is not happening.
No. So Scorpio is actually really interesting. It's not going to be... It's going to be the end of generations for Xbox, is what they're allowing.
They trying to do like a PC kind of like upgrade thing?
They are finally going to try and make their console with this VR-compatible thing, but you can buy like upgrades for it.
It's going to be like a Steam box.
Basically.
Okay.
But it's going to be Microsoft made, so it's actually going to be good.
That's a decent way of doing it, to be totally honest with you.
So it's going to be like a box with Origin on it?
No, that's EA.
Oh, wait, that's a thing?
What?
The what'd you say?
EA.
EA.
Company.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, EA runs Origin.
No, he didn't say OA.
Right.
Ouya.
Oh, yeah, the Ouya. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God, the Ouya.
The Ouya.
Yeah.
Let's break away from games for a little bit. There was something that I thought was kind of interesting. Marvel Cinematic Universe will be, quote-unquote, very, very different after the Avengers 4.
What I think it's going to be is like how comic books should just do a reboot. It's just like, reboot the whole world.
You think total reboot?
Yeah, just go like...
Just the Avengers 4 will just
time travel, reboot everything.
I think they're finally going to do what Ultimate Comics set out to do, which was to create mortality, to create finality, and a changing of the guard in comics, which is something that it lost with the death and rebirth of Superman. Mm-hmm. They created Ultimate Comics specifically because they hated that.
It has been following the Ultimate Marvel line quite a bit.
The thing that I really like, and you can see this if you pay close enough attention, they're getting ready, like they're calling a lot of these new people Avengers that they're going to bring in for Infinity War.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But after Infinity War, and Chris Evans, not necessarily Robert Downey Jr., but Chris Evans has said he wants to stop being Captain America after that. He's probably not going to renew his contracts. Yeah. He might want to be a director for them.
That's fair. You don't want to stick with one role like that forever. You don't want to be known as Captain America your
Chris
entire
Evans
life.
built his entire career around being a comic book movie character.
Oh yeah, I mean he was in the Fantastic Four.
No, before that.
Yeah.
So Fantastic Four, he was in The Losers. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
He's been in Scott Pilgrim.
He was in Scott Pilgrim.
No, but even before before the Fantastic Four, he was in a few other things that were comic book or graphic novel.
And I mean that's fine if you've got like a niche that you want to stick to.
He doesn't necessarily want to get away from that. He just wants to
do something different.
Yeah. Exactly.
He wants to take a step back.
So,
different characters.
I'm calling it now. I swear to God, if they don't do it, I would be completely surprised. They're going to kill Captain America and several other key people and have the new Avengers.
You think they'll make Falcon Captain America?
No, totally. No, Winter Soldier.
No, totally.
No, in the comics, Falcon took over as Captain America for a time.
It's going to be Winter Soldier.
Before Falcon took over, Winter Soldier did become Captain America.
Oh God, you're right. You're right.
I don't think they will, though, because I want to believe in Marvel being smart and progressive, more so with their movies than with their comics, especially in like the last handful of years. I think they're just going to jump the gun straight from failing to have Bucky, because even in the comics, Bucky, he tried to be Captain America, but nobody could get over the Winter Soldier thing. Yeah. They might do a movie where Bucky tries and then gives it up.
I can see that.
But I think they're going to try and shortcut it straight to Falcon taking over.
From what I heard, Bucky, the actor, he has like a 9-movie deal. And he's only done 3.
Wow.
Yeah, but the Winter Soldier character in the comics is way better as kind of this Red Hood, kind of rogue
I could see
hero
that too, hearing that.
acting in the shadows kind of a thing. And I think he would do a lot better, because people love him as the Winter Soldier, this rogue character. And
for sure.
Nobody wants to see him try and go straight lace.
But would people want to see Falcon as Captain America?
I think a lot of people would.
I wouldn't mind.
He did, but it doesn't seem that big of a character, though. Like, maybe
I think that's what they're going to
push him, you make him bigger.
Yeah. I think that's what they're going to do in Infinity Wars. They're going to try and push him higher.
Yeah.
Kind of in popularity because like people want the comics and the stories and the characters to have more depth and be more diverse.
Yeah.
You know, social, gender, race, whatever you want to call it, but like people, like everybody, just wants it to be fluctuating, to have the characters, you know, be the characters and not like have it be, oh, you have to have Spider-Man forever and all time. Spider-Man can change. Someone new can take it up, or you can have a new character that's similar kind of fill that role.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And Marvel Comics has been struggling for a long time because, like, they're afraid to let go. And because, like, hey, we might not sell as well if we don't have Spider-Man. Miles Morales Spider-Man proved...
Oh my god, he was such a good Spider-Man.
You can have a different kind of Spider-Man that still fills that basic, you know, taking a burden greater than yourself on.
Yeah, but it's like he was a different person, different personality, different goals, situation,
different everything.
Different powers.
Still Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I feel like they can do that even with, like, even if you got rid of the Spider-Man title and you had some new kind of character fill that role. It's, you want the ideals of the character, not necessarily the name or the specific power set. And I think that's what Marvel Comics and even DC especially have been afraid to get away from. Instead of writing really good characters and stories, they're sticking to gotta have a Batman, gotta have specific people be these characters for all of time.
Yeah.
It gets so boring.
Did Miles Morales have a different backstory?
He did.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So like it wasn't like an Uncle Ben dies sort of thing?
No. It was
No.
similar yet different in its own right. Like
it was like
a kid
his
he's a kid. He has parents. His uncle is a shady character. His uncle was a master thief hired to steal one of the genetic spiders from Norman Osborn that made Spider-Man, and he has it in his home, and it bites Miles. And then his uncle turns into a villain, and then other conflicts happen, and eventually his mom dies, and so it's just him and his dad, and he's out there fighting, trying to go to school, protect his dad, and, like, deal with the fact that his dad hates Spider-Man.
Yeah, and it's like he's got because
he's
as far as his
armed
dad
man.
is concerned, like
Mutants
Spider-Man
and
couldn't
superheroes.
save his mom.
Yeah.
So like
Like,
that's
it
what
was
he sees
really,
Spider-Man
like,
as.
they really pulled out all the stops to write a really good character, and then they just kind of, with the events of the new Secret Wars, just kind of like mushed it all back together.
Well, they stopped
again.
the Ultimate line, which was really
that was
disappointing.
Secret Wars.
Yeah,
and it bummed me out.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Speaking of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity news.
I saw that. I, for the first time, might enjoy playing those games because it
the
has
series.
more of a story than the others.
Yeah, the big
They're
story
actually
mode is actually going to be
building
really
a story
interesting.
into
I'm
it,
curious
like
about
Street
that.
Fighter, kind of.
Well, it kind of seems like you can't really make like Mortal Kombat did a lot for the fighting genre recently, honestly.
Yeah.
In the sense of like having that big overarching like, you know, multiple hour storyline thing. And it's like Street Fighter V didn't launch with it, but it's got one now.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, the Mortal Kombat games have had one. Injustice has had them because, you know, they're made by the Mortal Kombat guys.
Yeah.
And now it seems like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity is going to have it like at launch. Which is, it's exciting. It's going to be interesting for sure. The main villain totally confirmed to be Ultron taken over by the Sigma virus.
Oh
Well,
God.
Cool as hell.
No, if you watch the trailer for it, it's not even that he's been taken over. Like, they talk and they
the
discuss,
team
and they're
up.
like, you know, it's like, let's do this. And so Sigma just kind of assimilates Ultron's personality.
Yeah, it's a team up for sure. It's not like a forced thing.
It's like the Borg meets fucking the Cybermen.
Yeah,
It's great.
I love that idea though. Like you couldn't combine like two characters better than that.
Yeah.
I feel in the two universes. So that'll be a lot of fun. That'll be great. The character list right now, I had the feeling it's going to be a much smaller game as far as playable characters, and they're just going to do like DLC packs.
Of course.
Yeah.
But new characters include Ultron, Hulk, Thor, Hawkeye, Rocket Raccoon, Chun-Li, Strider, and Chris Redfield.
Chris Redfield.
Oh yeah, he was in
Also, X and a couple others.
Yeah, those were announced at launch. I'm talking about like the new characters that were announced really recently. Yeah. Chris Redfield was in 3.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
What did he just have a gun?
Oh yeah, and a rocket launcher and like a bunch of stuff from the Resident
Yeah.
Evil
So
games.
is
Yeah.
I mean,
he just
Jill
like
is in it,
is
too.
he like Snake in like Super Smash Bros?
A little bit, I suppose. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just you know the entire arsenal of stuff from the Resident Evil games, really.
Wow, I totally forgot about Brawl and just the fact that Snake was in that.
Jill was in too. That was a
Yeah.
hysterical character. She'd like send in like flaming zombies and dogs, and
Oh my
like,
God.
like her assist was to bring out a green herb.
That's amazing. Oh yeah, I can picture that
Yeah,
now.
yeah, it was pretty great.
Yeah.
She's a member of Stars.
What?
Stars.
But yeah, to be honest, like I'm excited and I'm happy at all those character choices, but at the same time, like aside from Ultron, they're all returning characters, all of them. And it would have been nice to have like he was in 3.
Really?
Yeah, he was totally in 3.
Number 3 had a ton of people.
It did. 3 did a pretty good job with like a diverse new character list.
Hmm.
But I would like to see more new characters coming out of this, and it's like as of right now, I think we have 2 that are brand new.
Yeah, I think along those lines, I don't know if they will bring out a whole bunch of new ones, because I heard that they're going to be doing a new, I forget what the name of it is. It's, a new Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I pardon my disbelief. I would love for them to do
I'm not
one.
the one who would remember this kind of thing. I saw an ad saying they're either going to make a new one or like a definitive master HD version, probably with
no
new
way
characters.
they do either.
Well, then why would I see
refuse
an
to
ad
believe
for that shit?
I
Yeah.
refuse to believe that.
It would give you too much hope.
It would. It totally would. That game was great. But yeah, aside from the new characters, they also introduced like a few different versions. So you could get like the normal version for $60. You get like a deluxe edition that includes like, you know, some extra costumes and stuff like that, and just like a kind of a season pass thing. So you get like post launch characters, and then you've got this $200 collector's edition that comes with 4 statues. It comes with LED powered Infinity Stone.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't give a shit about the game. I want those collectibles.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Make some room on your desk before you pre-order.
I would consider buying it for that statue of X alone. Like real talk, they're
Those
all really
statues
good looking.
are all
But
really awesome.
Yeah.
But no, I want to be able to like just, you know, if I need a nightlight, just grab an Infinity Stone
There
right
you go.
away.
there you
Feel
go.
like a god.
Just shove it in your forehead. Mind.
Yes.
Yeah, game looks pretty good so far. The only thing I've really heard is they're having like simplified controls, which kind of worries me a bit. Like I'm hearing talks of no more Shoryu commands, but like it's down punch for Shoryuken now, which is really weird. But I'm hoping there's a toggle for that.
I guess
Aside
I could
from that, it looks
understand that
solid
because
so
like
far.
I could understand if they're gonna have a smaller cast. You're already trying to appeal to a broader audience.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Simpler commands would bring in more people to the fighting genre.
Yeah,
that
I
wouldn't
get that.
necessarily have gone in before.
I get that.
Hell, I would start playing that more than.
Let's see here. Next thing on. So as good as Marvel vs. Capcom looks, you know what doesn't look good? It's the new Sonic Forces game.
Oh.
That looks terrible.
I saw a
I-
trailer
so
and
bad.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm not as studied in Sonic as you.
No, I totally
I
understand
couldn't tell
that.
the difference between that old Sonic and generations old Sonic.
Okay, so
One
Yeah.
looked lighter.
Wait, I was going to say
color.
before, Tim.
all right, go for it.
Okay, I know you have a lot to say, Tim.
I do.
So let me go, because I'm going to be a little shorter than you.
All right.
So I watched that last night.
Yes.
I see no problem with it.
Okay.
Because it looked like a Sonic game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's the green zone or whatever,
Mhm.
but it's a classic level. I don't have a problem. It shouldn't be a problem. Tim,
You'll
Tim.
get your moment.
I'm
You'll
holding
get your
Tim,
moment.
you-
He's dying right
we
now.
know you're dying. If I watch it, there's no problem. It's like, it's a Sonic level. It looks nice and all. It's just supposed to be a basic edition anyways. Because not the one where it had like 3 different types of play.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
supposed to be they've introduced Modern, and Modern
Yeah.
looks fine. Modern
Yeah.
just looks like more of
And that's just
Generations
classic.
and Unleashing
An
Colors.
updated version.
Classic
That seems
looks terrible.
fine. Okay, now Tim,
Mm-hmm.
you may go.
All right. First of all, you bring up the fact that Green Hill is a classic level, and I totally understand that, and I get that, and it would have a lot more impact if they haven't done it for the last, 7 games. It was really cool when you unlock Green Hill Zone for getting all the emblems in Sonic Adventure 2. And then it's been in Sonic Battle, it's been in Sonic Generations, it's been in Sonic everything. There's a Green Hill Zone everywhere now.
I think I understand why you feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could have alleviated that by just marking it as Sonic lives in fucking Green Hill Zone. That is where you start the game.
You know what?
If that was just branded, that is where you start the game, it would give
and that'd be fun.
a thing to tie you into
Dreamland
all of Sonic
Kirby.
games.
No,
it's
you're
he just
exactly.
lives there.
You're totally
I can understand
right.
what you're saying, and if they just definitively said Sonic lives in Green Hill Zone, that is where you start the game,
yeah.
and then you branch out into all these different kinds of things for every game after that. That would be okay.
Yeah.
I would be totally fine with that. You're
That's not what
completely
they do,
right.
though.
No, I
they
don't
do.
know that for sure. But here's the thing. For starters, we're bringing up Green Hill Zone here. That's my least biggest complaint about this.
Oh, damn.
Well, I looked at the comments on it, and that's one of the bigger complaints. I was at the prom. It's just Sonic level.
Yeah, it was one of the bigger complaints, and it's it looks like they're mixing it up. There's some sand back in the background. There's pyramids and stuff going on.
Desert, but that's about it.
So I'm wondering if that's some sort of hint towards zone merging or something going on in the game, which that could be an interesting ploy. But the level design itself looked really straightforward and boring when you compare it to the Generations Classic, where there were a lot. It felt like a huge level, and it felt like there were a lot of diverging, branching paths, and it felt like it was just kind of a big undertaking. Whereas this felt really straightforward, single pathed, a lot of obstacles and springs and stuff that were kind of just there to get in your way. My biggest complaint is, man, I hope that music is temporary, because that music was terrible. It was so bad. You go back, if anyone has ever played Sonic 4, they'll know that that's got the worst soundtrack ever, because they decided to try to emulate that Genesis synth feel by adding in that Genesis drum clap to every fucking note of the song. And it's so goddamn irritating, and they put it in whatever this new song is, and it feels terrible. Especially when you go back to Generations and it had these great remixes of classic songs. So, that's the biggest thing that's bugging me right now. And I'm willing to overlook everything else, because, the modern gameplay still looks fine, and whatever the third gameplay style is, I'm still curious about it. Silhouette still looks like Bubsy the Bobcat, so we'll see how that goes.
That'll be the third Sonic?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe,
they've confirmed
maybe
it won't be
super
Boom
lucky
Sonic.
And they're finally going to announce the Sega Marvel merger that we've all been looking forward to, and it's Howard the Duck.
I'd play it. I'd play the hell out of it. Sure,
Running
why not?
super slow through all of these levels as Howard the Duck, complaining about how much he wants a drink.
Collecting cigars.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, having sex with people.
That was the thing that happened.
Yeah.
Have any of you actually seen the movie?
I saw a
Yes.
review
I
for
seen
the
parts of
My
it.
dad was almost in the movie.
I have seen the movie. It
So-
is weird.
Oh, yeah.
So you saw
It is a
My
it is a
dad-
furry's
Wait a
wet
minute.
dream.
Wait, Andy, you're telling me a movie about a duck from space in the human world, and he's the only duck around, is weird?
He's got you
This
there.
is a no. This is a decade that came out with films such as The Toxic Avenger, that came out with Blade Runner.
Yep.
It came out with all these kinds of things. Howard the Duck was a step too far. That was weird.
Fair enough.
There were duck boobs in that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Duck boobs.
They were basically trying to make a you know, how I forget what it was. There was some movie that was the first to kind of merge cartoons and reality, and then you got Space Jam, where it was they really kind of meshed the line
Well, you have
between cartoons and reality.
Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is
I
that's
think that was
a
what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
This was the opposite. Instead of trying to really
What was the
have
other one,
them
Cool
interact
World?
with cartoons, you were trying to make
yes.
cartoons look more real by
Yeah.
having them dress up as
I
mascots.
want to see
Yeah.
that movie.
And it
Okay, I heard about
backfired
it.
bad.
Oh,
It backfired real bad.
I'd watch it with
No.
you. Screw it.
That reminds me, there's a game I want you to at least check out or play at some point called
Okay.
Toonstruck.
That sounds familiar. Oh,
It,
yeah!
it just came on Steam last December,
really?
but it released in the 90s.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with it.
Okay.
What?
Yeah,
that
like,
would be interesting.
It has what's the name? Christopher Lloyd as the main character. in it.
What?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
It was
yes,
like
yes.
this weird,
I
like
remember this.
CG, not CG, but like real life,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like you know how in
Mortal
the
Kombat.
mid '90s they were huge on those like FMV, like
Yeah.
real people,
Yeah. The
like
first
yes.
Resident Evil game had
Night
that.
Yeah.
Trap.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's an excellent game. It's hilarious.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Howard the friggin' Duck.
That could be a funny thing to stream.
It would be
That
hilarious.
could be.
God.
You know what we shouldn't be streaming? Persona 5.
Why would we want to stream that?
So,
it's a big popular
I
game
haven't
just
played the
came
other
out.
ones.
So everybody knows at this point that when that game came out, Atlus brought up kind of a they had like a press release thing, not
Yeah.
a press release, but just like a news
They announced
article
it
that
on the
was
day
yeah,
that came
that
out.
was like, all right, guys, if you stream this game, you're not allowed to play past the in-game date of July 7th. And not only that, but you're not allowed to stream like the end of dungeons. You're not allowed to stream or say anything about a specific character. Like
Yep.
there were a lot of weird stipulations
Yes.
behind it. And at this
Boss
point,
fights.
like a bunch of people were already like planning on doing this game or
Yeah.
had like gotten it and already
No,
started
it
the
was a
recording
thing.
and
Like,
everything.
I saw people streaming this. People
Yeah.
were talking about it
Yeah,
well in
yeah.
advance.
So Atlus decided to backstep a little bit on that. They
Yeah.
decided,
Oh, really?
we've heard
Yeah.
we've heard what you're talking about. We understand, and the game's been out for a couple weeks now. So we're pushing it back to the date of 11/19 in game, which is where the Endgame starts.
Okay.
So in trying to avoid spoilers for their game online, they announced to the world where the Endgame starts in the game.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was a little backwards,
Well,
and
did
it's like
they
I feel
say
like
that that's where Endgame
they
was?
specifically said that you're allowed to stream until 11/19, where the end game starts.
Oh, okay. I was
Yes.
about
Okay.
to say, like, if they
Well,
just say, like,
I mean,
at
that's-
11:19.
That's kind of vague because, I mean, there can be a lot to an end game. Like Final Fantasy VII, where they had the entire third disc was the end game.
I
Yeah.
mean, you're right, and to be totally fair, like if anyone's played previous Persona games, like
Yeah.
that's kind of how the date system works there too, where the end game starts around November or so. But
Yeah.
it's also a thing where it's like people new to the series, like it
Isn't it
seems
based
a little.
around high school kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems a little ironic that, like, in trying to avoid people getting spoiled online for their game, they released, like, a spoiler for their game.
Yeah, but you're kind
That
of
was probably a mistake.
playing the game. You get kind of told about when that's going to happen.
Mhm.
Like I said, a certain day, like you're going to go through this dungeon and complete it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a huge thing, I
Yeah.
find it funny more than anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
like, be
I
prepared
feel
by
like-
this point.
I feel like they're still, like, really missing the point
Yeah.
of it. And it's like, anyone who wants to play that game is going to go out there and they're going to play the game.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like
Yeah.
anyone who is just going to, like, sit there and watch an LP or a stream of it are going
Yeah.
to do just that,
Yeah.
and they don't care about spoilers, clearly.
Yeah.
So it's like you're trying to alienate people that, like, aren't going to be in your list of buyers anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe I have different opinions than other people, but there are so many Let's Plays, streams, videos
Mhm.
of other people playing a game where
Mhm.
I watch it and I go, that looks interesting. I want to buy it.
Oh yeah, and that was a huge reason why Persona started becoming popular in the US.
Yeah.
Is like people would see these videos and these streams of like this game that wasn't really heard of or anything and go like, yo, that's awesome. That looks really cool and I wouldn't have known about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, they go and decide to check the game out.
Like, I can cite specific games that I watched someone play it,
Oh, yeah.
and I said, that looks really cool. I actually really want to buy that now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like-
I've bought more than a handful of games because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Ride to Hell.
It's like Ride to Hell. Oh, Jessica.
But, you know, there were so many good games that I've purchased.
Night in the Woods. Great example.
Yeah, Night in the Woods is a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in all of this, like I guarantee you know what? I'm gonna go right now. I'm gonna go to
Okay.
YouTube right now. I'm gonna type in Persona 5 ending.
It's probably there.
Would you look at that?
Yeah.
Posted 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Of course.
Persona 5 all endings in English. Good, bad, true ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Persona 5 ending and credits.
I mean, I feel like the day of. You could
walk
probably
through
find it.
gameplay part 40 ending.
Yeah.
Part 42 ending. They're up there, guys. Get
Yeah.
on it, Atlus. You're fucking up. You're fucking it all up, Atlus.
No, because they're not playing the game. It's just a video of the ending.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that they're trying to...
But they're not playing the game to that point. They're showing the video at the end.
No, they're specifically like 2-hour-long videos that are like...
Yeah.
You can't say that.
I can't.
So, yeah.
Well, I think just
they're
at
up
first
there.
they had a very strong, a little bit too... It's like, I'm going to take your channel down if you pump that up. But
yeah, and then they go back like, we didn't mean to threaten anyone with copyright strikes.
We didn't mean that.
They totally did.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, one of like, the first games I heard like a big strike about. Like, I know you told me about other ones, but they weren't as big sounding, it seemed like.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't as press released.
Man, off topic, but I guess apparently there's going to be like another writer's strike that's going to be happening.
Yeah, I heard about
I'm
that.
fine with
Possibly.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm honestly
It's
fine with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't watch much TV anyways.
There's so much just boring, average TV out there.
It's true.
That it's not going to harm. And there was some fantastic comedy and smart writing that came out of the Writers Guild strike because people that wouldn't necessarily have been able to get certain things approved got them approved because there's nothing fucking else
They
to
were
work
desperate,
with.
We need something.
I'm honestly fine with that.
I don't know. I'm thinking about like there are actual like sitcoms. Like the one thing that I'm thinking of is like Modern Family. That would suck to like suddenly just not have writers for it anymore. Or
whenever I picture the writer's strike, I picture the gas leak season from Community.
Yeah.
just stuff like that.
Yeah,
but it also depends on how much they've already written.
Sure.
For example, like Game of Thrones, it's already all written.
Oh yeah.
So there's no problem with that.
You're right. So yeah, getting Persona stuff out of the way, and back to anime. Andy, you want to feel this one? EVE Online's latest war is being fought over anime.
Yeah. So this is completely ridiculous.
Do you want to explain EVE Online real quick?
Yeah.
So EVE Online is Economy the game. It is taking the most boring part about sci-fi and making it the entire game.
It's like this space travel kind of game. You build and pilot ships and stuff.
Basically, you're
you can
a person,
like move cargo
and
around.
then you can go and you can buy a ship, and you can take that ship and go mine resources, blow up other ships, steal their stuff, take their money, buy a better ship, build a better ship, repair yours better, and you can keep building and making, joining with other people and make these giant monolithic Star Destroyer, Death Star ships out in space. And it's a vast, vast space, and tons and people play this. They play it in small pirate bands that feed off of traveling ships. And it's a game, but it's like the entire purpose of the game is the economy, and that's fine. It's fine. I could really sink my teeth into something like that, but some
people actually make a job doing that too.
Exactly, and that's the thing.
Real life money.
That's the thing that annoys me is that there's no. I think there's no real
because it's just like selling stuff online. Like, I have this item, I'll sell it to you. Real money.
Yeah, there's no. Plus,
Yeah.
you can earn game time and sell it for actual dollars.
Yeah.
You can sell game time to other people for $4, so that you earn yourself enough game time to keep playing, and then you sell the excess to other people for actual real world currency.
What?
I remember like my biggest EVE Online knowledge is I remember like a few years back, I guess 4chan or something, got like a bunch of people together to build the game's like biggest, most expensive, most impressive ship, right?
Yeah.
Like, and this is expensive real money.
Yeah.
Not like in-game currency, but like
the
real-ass
currency
money.
is actually fairly stable comparative to real-world currencies. That is how long-lasting this game is that the economy in this is more solid than WoW and is closer to an actual real-world currency.
Yeah, because the thing is with most MMOs is like you sell items to NPCs, you get gold from enemies, and you have like a never-ending source of money coming from somewhere. But with EVE Online, from what I understand, is it's a more finite amount of money going around between players.
The only money you can really get is out of what you can sell to other players. You can't sell as much to like NPCs or to shops. Like they'll cut in half what you sell. So you have to use the resources you gather more than say selling them to earn the gold.
Yeah, you have to like barter more.
It's very barter heavy, and it's cool in the sense that it's a game that's never going to end. This is a game that's going to be around for ages, and they're just going to release updates that make the graphics nicer, make bigger ships, expand the universe more. I like that. It's cool. who knows? I might even get into it myself one day.
Yeah.
The big thing I remember though is like I said, I think 4chan got like a bunch of people in to be like, hey, we want to make this giant ship. Like, let's make the biggest, most impressive ship this game has to offer. And like a bunch of people were super in. It's like, yeah, this hasn't been made before. This is like a huge deal. Let's do it. Let's be a part of this. Let's donate money. Let's get this thing made. And they built it all up and they got the ship going. And then it turns out it was all like a ploy from 4chan because the people who initially like pitched the idea went in and destroyed it.
Yeah, right.
It's
Throwing away literal dollars.
Yeah, seriously, and actual theft has occurred in this game.
Mm-hmm.
There are big guilds that store up stockpiles of items which you trade in for in-game time, which can be sold back to the company or to other people for actual money. Sometimes these guilds will barter several different things, and then cargo ships will carry, like a bunch of items, but also some really rare mineral that can be sold for that in-game time. And so guilds were making very like low-key backdeal trades one time, and somebody corporate espionage found it, destroyed the ship with all the stuff, stole all the cargo.
Actual space piracy going on.
Actual space piracy. They stole, kid you not, I think it was like 12 real world $12,000 actual dollars worth of in-game time that they were able to sell.
Yep.
This is weird.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
This is really weird.
It is a weird game.
This game's been out for like 10 years.
So what
Yeah,
is...
serious?
No,
Yeah.
this game is
This is not like a new game. This has been out for a long time.
This game is like...
I've never heard of it.
It is not quite as popularly known, but it is as big as WoW.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really?
Easily.
Yeah, it's a huge game,
It is a big game.
So what is the newest thing going on?
So,
let's get back to that.
like with most MMOs, there are chat channels and logs and things, and you can really only say and do so much and talk about so much in any chat log, your guild's chat log, personal whispers, general broadcast, things like that. You can't really share pictures. You can talk about stuff, but it gets cluttered.
No, this was in Discord, if I remember correctly.
It started in Discord, but it's
okay.
This
extended out.
This is the prologue, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So people, obviously want to talk and get to know the people that they work with in their guilds and their friends online better. So come Skype, come Discord specifically. And now you're suddenly able to share memes and links and stuff like that. And it's super easy to communicate and talk. And so the big guilds have noticed that there's this problem, more so in certain guilds than others. There is a big semi-pirate guild that lives in this kind of like Badlands sector. They're not a pirate guild, but they've done some piracy.
Yeah.
And in their Discord, they started seeing more and more people, weebs, nerds, who are super into anime, like, me to a certain extent, and they started flooding like the Discord server channel, like a bunch of the different like chat channels with
creepy
weeb anime talk
bullshit.
and references and memes and links and stuff like that.
Oh my god!
And it made this is a thing that hasn't really happened before because there's only so much you can do in game, but now because there's Discord and you can share and talk about literally anything and it's super easy, it's making it more difficult for the guild leaders to keep people task oriented in game because they're flooding the Discord with weeb memes and chat and talk that you normally wouldn't do in the game because you have to stay focused in the game, because you might miss something if you're talking about a bunch of bullshit. So it built up to such a point that the CEO or like whatever you want to call him of this guild put a ban on all weeb stuff in Discord, and like anybody who posts these things, the moderators will kind of like delete that shit and like put them on a lock out of that talk channel.
Wow.
And so he's like, I'm done with this weeb shit. There are other people in other parts of the game that are like, that's bullshit. And in particular, there's a guy who serves as kind of like
a politician, I think you're calling
him. He is kind of a politician, kind of like how a lot of games have people who represent the players to the GMs and to the developers. This guy is basically the player representative. He's like on like a council, and he's like kind of the head of the council, and he's a big fucking weeb. And so on a podcast that they both happen to be on, he's kind of abrasive, and he's not very tactful. He kind of just came out and said, dude, you're a massive fucking dick for banning all the weave shit in your Discord. Everybody is bitching about it everywhere, calling you, like, even people who aren't in his guild are calling his bullshit, because how dare you censor what people enjoy and call people bullshit for what they enjoy out of the game, you know, when they're all working together for so long. How dare you kind of censor them? And so this guy, he then went on another podcast and kind of expanded on that, like, you know, a lot of people are experiencing this thing where, like, they're trying to stamp out, you know, he specifically was talking about weebs, but there are other things, like people who are really into, say, sports and are starting to get tamped down. But there's a massive following of weebs on EVE because, of course, it's an MMO.
Yeah. God forbid the guy is able to moderate his own Discord channel. Yeah. You know? God forbid he can do that.
Yeah, I totally get that, but at the same time, it's so easy to just be like, hey, here's an anime discussion channel. Yep, go there.
Here's the off-topic channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that, and that's the thing.
That's the problem. Is they had a channel, I think, but everyone else just tipped on the other channels of doing it.
I can see, it did bleed everywhere. There wasn't a controlling it.
And then you silence them, you ban them, you do whatever, and it's totally justified, because it's not against anime, it's against your dumbass not following the rules.
It's like
but people didn't see it that way, and especially after this podcast, it really didn't seem like it was about being in control of your guild and your mod. It's about being against a person's personal opinions and enjoyment. So it's
about ethics and anime journalism.
So,
oh my god, is anime real?
After getting hardlined so hard, this guy who's in charge of this Badlands guild, he's like, you know what? I am tired of this shit. I am putting an in-game bounty out on that guy, the president.
No. They declared war against that guy's group.
They declared war, and then he put an extra bounty on his head, saying, everybody who joins us and pilfer the fuck out of these guys, and then specifically this president fucker dude, I'm putting a bounty on his head. Anybody who can bring me, from my guild, 10 of these corpses, I will lift the ban on Weeb Talk. So you had a massive influx of people from his guild and outside the guild wanting to contribute his corpse.
Yeah.
Then there was a massive outcry, and this is the great part. There was a massive outcry from people who felt like the guild leader that didn't want the weeb shit in any form on their Discord or talk from inside and outside. They want the game to be so fucking pure. So then he's like, okay, if people can bring me 20 of his corpses, if a faction can bring me 20 of his corpses, I will make the ban permanent, and I will get other guilds to start joining in with me.
Oh my god!
So it is turning into the first massive, widespread war that this game has encountered. And it's called the World War Weeb.
Oh my god!
And you have people trying to destroy these guilds. These guilds are at war, and other guilds are joining them in this war, and specifically this guy is having to bunker down and stealthily hide to try and not get murdered too much.
I really love how the phrase weeaboo actually has nothing to do with anime, and it was just a Perry Bible Fellowship comic.
Yeah.
Andy, I'm not sure. Do you know when the article was put up? How many days ago it was now?
It was recent, but not
because I remember reading the bottom of it. It says at the moment, or at the end of that article, the weebs who want to keep it are at 0, but the people who want it gone is at 5.
Article was posted 3 days ago at this time of recording, Tuesday evening.
So
so they're in the lead right now, but things can change.
No, the non-weeb people need 20. Yeah. The weebs only need 10.
But they have 0. They didn't do anything.
There's a lot. Here's the thing.
I don't know how long they're going for.
Here's the thing, though, that aside from all of this, and it's so sad because it is the saddest parallel. There has been an exodus from many guilds because of this, because of the perceived persecution in their own guilds for their entertainment enjoyment and wanting to talk about it. There are people forming coalitions and their own guilds just to emphasize and express their weebness, to really flourish the weeb.
I can picture the higher-up rich guys doing like a rat race thing where they just place bets on which team's going to win.
There are people, there are these guilds, there's this war, and then you have this immigration of flood of people leaving guilds to form their own weeb coalition where they won't be murdered and persecuted by their guild mates.
Look forward to Splatoon 2's first Splatfest. Is anime real or fake?
Yeah, no, it's the most bizarre thing. And you hear about these things that happen in MMOs that spark up these massive conflicts that have nothing to do with the actual game.
Oh yeah,
and
like that happens in
the
Eve.
story of the game.
That happens in Eve more than like anything else. I feel.
Yeah,
it's just the environment
because
that
there's no real
creates.
Story in Eve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in-game like massive events that happen player-wise become part of the lore for the game later on.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
It is a game more influenced by players than any other.
Yeah. But like going back to it, it's just basically like the guy he's trying to make money through all his people, and they're not going to do stuff and get distracted. It's kind of like, I'm trying to make you guys work. This is my job, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm trying to control you guys a little bit. Going straight, I'm your boss.
He was well within his rights.
Yeah.
The situation all around.
He probably should have gone on podcast and saying that. But
he should have worked with the moderators to slowly herd them into specific channels instead of like banning people.
All of them. I mean,
instead of banning them and then like kicking them out and stuff like that. And the other guy should not have been so tactless with his thing. It's like, dude, do you have anything against weebs? Instead of saying you're a dick for being against weebs.
I'm glad they were both idiots.
Yeah,
I'm glad I live in this world.
The fact that they were both idiots has created a war. A Star Wars event.
Oh my
god.
Okay, I'm trying to imagine how much anime stuff could they have been posting. Like, I'm picturing like a Twitch chat where it's like nothing.
Okay, so have you ever seen like probably not, but like anybody with a following in excess of like 7,000 or 8,000
on Twitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like those chat logs, but people are just constantly spamming and posting stuff.
Yeah.
It's super hard to follow.
Picture the GDQ chat, but instead of Kappa, it's just anime girls.
Because like this Badlands guild, it had like, I want to say like 20-something thousand people in it.
Wow.
Holy crap.
And they're not all on at once, but there's enough of them on at once.
Yeah.
At all times. And this was going on in many guilds apparently,
and that's why a fraction of that is a few thousand people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy, another game I think you wanted to talk about, the Shaq Fu sequel they've been working on.
I didn't necessarily want to talk about it. I'm just so glad that it's happening.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
No, it's been happening for a while. That's actually the first news I've heard about in a real long time.
Well, like they did a Kickstarter, and they're saying the Kickstarter like got fully funded, and the game is going through, and they're starting to show some things, and it looks like it's gonna happen well.
Yeah, it was like a couple years back. I think.
Yeah, I want to say it's like 2015. It was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but the new news is that it's coming to the Switch.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
You have another great game to take on the go with you.
Yeah,
you have this fantastic game to play on a new console.
And like I've seen like some of like minor animations and stuff that they put out, and it looks fantastic.
I've only saw the stuff when they first started posting it, but it looked like some ridiculous like brawler beat 'em up with like a Street Fighter 4 aesthetic to it.
Yes, but on top of that, it also has an aesthetic, something that's been sorely missing for a long time. There's only 2 games that have used it really before. The first one, I think it was called like Comic Zone or Cool Zone for the Sega Genesis.
Oh yeah, Comic Zone. Totally remember that game.
And then after that, Beautiful Joe emphasized this kind of like comic book kapow and like overemphasized like action and like shock bubbles and stuff like that. And it's using that kind of aesthetic on top of the Street Fighter 4 art style.
There are more games that do stuff like that than just that couple. Like I can't think of a ton off the top of my head. The JoJo games do that. I can tell you that right now. Yeah, but like just in general, there are games that do that, but it is few and far between that you see that like aesthetic, and that is a great one.
It's
absolutely.
a great one, and I'm glad that they're going with that.
For sure. Man, Beautiful Joe is fucking phenomenal. Just aesthetically, if nothing else. Jessica, Something about Nintendo shirts.
There was just like a small thing that I saw online. There's a brand that
Uniqlo, is that it?
it's called Uniqlo, and it was.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was a primarily Asian brand. I'm not sure if it was Japanese or Korean.
Yeah, I guess they got some sort of contest or something for Nintendo shirt design.
So they had a contest to essentially, I guess like make a favorite design, and it was around Nintendo characters. The designs are really awesome. Like, they have a really cute Kirby shirt, like a fun Metroid one.
My favorite was Donkey Kong.
They had a Metroid shirt.
I know, they had a Metroid shirt. Yeah.
Not anymore.
Jesus.
No.
Not anymore.
They had it. It's gone now. They took it down. Like, what were we thinking? We can't acknowledge that Metroid exists.
But and there were at least like 12 different designs.
Yeah.
But overwhelmingly, I think out of all of those, and there were like multiple ones for different franchises, there was only one women's design. And I was
No, I saw more.
Did you?
I only saw one.
I can look it up really fast.
I like the Splatoon one, but I would rather more like real world in-game Splatoon shirts,
and I'm
like the Takaroko one I have.
Go with Jessica here. I sympathize with that because like so much of Nintendo is just kind of unisex, but some are definitely a little more men's than say women's, and even some of the female characters are kind of like Samus sci-fi kind of classic men's kind of area,
But it's also like Samus is a strong, powerful. Well, she used to be until Other M.
Until every single game at the very start.
No, but I mean, like when it was revealed that Samus was a woman, it was like she's powerful and independent and strong and a badass. Kick-ass chick.
So you're like, take off the helmet, you're like, what?
And then Other M stripped that all away.
Yeah, I mean, well, like, Metroid Prime was amazing.
It was.
No, but I can definitely get what you're saying. Like, they could have taken a lot of designs from any of the franchises, and instead of just making it mostly unisex, they could have made some more masculine, more feminine.
Yeah.
Not even the designs, though. Honestly, not even the designs.
I don't mind having... I like... See, the thing is like, I like all of those shirts, and I'd be willing to wear any of them. It was just... I was...
They only had one women's cut shirt?
Yes.
I thought you were talking design-wise.
Yeah, I just mean...
that's weird, then. That's actually really weird.
There's 4 right there.
Oh, okay, so that's more than what I thought originally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess just, like, comparatively...
Yeah. But there are some that are like men only, kids only, which kind of like I would want to get some of these shirts.
Yeah.
But one thing about the concept I didn't like is the first place one, the Mario shirt.
I'm
not impressed by it because like it's not unique. It's like I took the 8-bit
yeah.
Mario and put it here.
And they just slap it on something. Yeah.
Like the other one seemed like more creative. They actually put work in it.
For sure.
Yeah,
Not
like
just,
there was. I think that you mentioned the Kirby one. I really liked that one.
And that was the one that I actually wanted.
Touching exactly on what Kevin says there, there's this thing I'm seeing online, like across like Etsy and like a few other places where like people, like original artists can like make their own shirt designs and things like that. There's a growing trend of artists trying to claim that they're coming up with original designs, but all they're doing is saying like, oh, I'm gonna like take that shirt you saw in a classic anime or comic book and put it on an actual t-shirt. It's not an actual company, but
you're specifically talking about that BuzzFeed comic guy.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
He's a part of it, but there are more people doing it.
That infuriated me.
He's the biggest one, but he's not the only one. He's the most recent.
Those really popular BuzzFeed comics. I can't remember the guy who does those.
A lot of them.
Yeah,
but
that's it.
You know like how in Dragon Ball Z, Piccolo wears this shirt that just says, like, bad milk or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just these really lame
or like
shirts.
Opie.
And this isn't any of, like,
something like that.
This is like in anime and in American comics and things like that. Just
the
these
pill
generic
design from Akira
kind of
on the
shirts.
jacket, he turned into a shirt, but it is like a 1-1 lift off of the design from the anime.
Okay.
And it's not like
nothing
somebody
original.
went ahead and actually designed a jacket to look like the jacket and put the logo on, because that's original. You're putting an effort to design a jacket. He just lifts the design straight out of the comic and slaps it on a shirt. And he's saying it's his own thing. Crazy thing though about that is one of the shirts that he decided to use is from Ranma 1/2.
Yes.
And that specific shirt, the creator, she got permission. It's actually from a real clothing company in Japan.
Ooh,
it's
that's
been around
bad.
since
That's
70s.
bad.
And so now he hasn't sold any. He just put up mock-ups saying, I want to do this. And people are warning him, like, dude, you don't want to do this. That's an actual
The funny
company.
thing is, he
You could
did
get
it
in
like
actual trouble.
He did it like 2 days after bitching and complaining to someone that took his art and removed his watermark from it.
Yeah.
Man, see, like, and that sucks because like there are actual artists that are on Etsy that are creating original things,
Yeah.
and then it's the basically the reverse, where companies, Forever 21 and places like H&M are taking things that people are creating and then like selling it as their
If you
own.
design pins, good luck keeping those to yourself.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck. I've seen so many of those
there's
get
a couple
ripped off,
people
and
that
it's
are
such
like
a shame.
kind of like trailblazers, and they make really cool enamel pins. And then I'll see like a week later, Facebook recommend me this other pin that's basically a color
like
palette
Claire's
change.
does it in spades.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's real sad.
Yeah.
And like we're talking about this, and at the same time, like my favorite shirt is a design straight up lifted from Splatoon.
I know.
Like shamelessly. So it's like I understand there's a market there, and if they aren't going to do it officially, like I would still like to have that option.
Yeah.
Okay, but is Nintendo making that shirt?
They are not.
Exactly.
I can understand for most of these things him saying like, hey, what if I lifted these designs and like made shirts similar and stuff like that you could enjoy, or if I like got in touch and because I got a feeling if he talked to Akira Toriyama and said, hey, can I make Piccolo's shirt, actual shirt, people would love that because people fucking love Piccolo.
Yeah.
And would want to wear like Vegeta's pink, bad boy shirt or whatever. People would love that. People would buy the shit out of that. And I get the feeling he wouldn't be too mad if he like kind of made it original in design. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that at all.
And I mean, like Redbubble is half of that. Like there's places online that just like a lot of people do this kind of stuff, and it's a mixed field because at one point in time I want to be like, hey, that's original art. You probably shouldn't be doing that, but it's like the people who designed it originally aren't doing this clearly, and it's like I would really like something like that. So it is kind of a weird mixed bag for me there.
It's tricky.
I understand it in the context of these aren't and are never going to be shirts, most of them, but like the milk one from Ranma 1/2, and then
like you said, that was an actual company.
The Akira shirt, which again has been done in jacket format and things like that, and he shouldn't have done those. Like things that are very iconic designs that have been used and are part of the story. Like people when they see that design, they're like, oh, that's fucking Akira.
Yeah.
They know that design. Things like Piccolo's random one episode shirt that's never going to be a thing. I could see lifting that. Yeah. That's fair. But iconic shirt design, clothing designs from anime and movies and things like that, those should not be touched without talking to the creator.
FLCL, there's an episode where the main character has this like baseball tee that just has this really simple 90-degree angle, like right up at the top middle of the chest. And I really want that shirt. There's just something about its simplicity that I really enjoy. Let's go ahead and wrap up the news with what we started with, more Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
So yesterday, new DLC info was announced. So the first of 2 DLC packs here. And it sounds like pretty interesting stuff. I think it's bringing some new things to the table. So there's like new equipment and everything, and the equipment sounds like it's based off of like previous game characters and stuff. So you'll get to dress as like Tingle, which is terrifying. You'll get like Midna's mask, you'll get Majora's mask, stuff like that, and it's like that's all pretty cool stuff. That's stuff that I'm a little surprised wasn't in the game already. But I'm glad it's coming. You've got a new hard mode, which seems kind of interesting. It doesn't seem like the typical double damage, less health kind of thing. It sounds like what they're doing is they're replacing...
Like next level up, essentially?
Yeah. So you know how like the enemies kind of go in ranks, how like by color? And you find more of the harder to fight colors as you go along through the game. It's a thing where it's like there's going to be more of the higher ranked colors Like they're basically ranking up, like you said. There's going to be like enemies will be tougher to sneak up on, stuff like that. There's going to be like some extra things around Hyrule that'll get you some items. And that sounds pretty cool. That sounds like a decent way to do a hard mode that isn't just changing numbers around, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a something called the Trial of the Sword, which is, it sounds like a 45 room like arena kind of thing where you just fight a bunch of enemies, and if you get through it, you get to power up the Master Sword, and that's pretty cool. Yeah. This is something I'm actually really interested in. There's something called Hero's Path Mode, where the game will basically log where you have been for the last 200 hours and show you like this green line that shows you like the path that you've taken throughout the game. And it will even retroactively work in the games that you're playing right now. So, like, you don't have to start up a new game to see where you are and where you've been and everything. Like, when this update comes out, you'll be able to just use that right away.
Well, eventually,
and see what you've done.
It'll just be, the screen will be just big green mass.
Yeah, you'd think and everything, but it would also be interesting
to a scroll thing.
Yeah, there's like a scroll for the time and all that stuff. So you'll be able to see, like, what paths you took, like where you've been a lot, where you haven't checked out at all that might be worth taking a look at, stuff like that.
It's really cool.
So that seems like a really interesting idea and a pretty good way to like narrow down areas that you get to explore. There's going to be something called a travel medallion that'll be hidden somewhere in the game that'll essentially give you a new warp point. So you can only use it like as a temporary thing, and you can only put one on the map at a time. But it'll be like a new fast travel point for you.
Yeah,
and that sounds pretty awesome as well. There will also be a Korok mask that you can equip that will, I guess, like, shake or something when there's a Korok hidden nearby. So it'll be easier to find a lot of those Korok seeds since there's, like, a shitload of them out there.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. I think that's a pretty good addition, too. Especially because it's, like, an optional item kind of thing. So, like, if you still want to do it the old way, by all means.
Yeah.
So overall, I think it's a pretty solid bundle of initial stuff there. Like, it all sounds like it's going to be pretty useful.
That's
it
just
all
the
sounds
first
like
one.
just the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one's supposed to come out with like I think like a new story mode thing or something. Yeah, like a new like extra scenario DLC thing.
So I googled like to kind of research what like the DLC pack was going to be, and the first article that I see, it was like a Forbes article. And it said, the DLC for Zelda is already disappointing. And I was like, what? And so I click on it, and it's this guy that's going over, he said he was comparing this DLC to apparently DLC for, like, The Division, I think it was called. It's like this Tom Clancy game. I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. Yeah. He was like, oh, it's like another, game where, like, it comes with DLC, and I was expecting it to be, like, more of the world opened or expanded, but it wasn't that at all, and I'm totally getting that sense of disappointment from this DLC pack.
Why would you expect that from an open world game?
Yeah, they put clear boundary. What did you expect them to do? Like, download extra data to, like, rewrite the map?
I
that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
But the thing is, like, there is more story mode content coming, and Nintendo made it clear that it wouldn't be, like, the day they announced that there was going to be DLC for this game, they outlined what would be in it. And the first one was basically, like, a couple new map options, some new equipment, and stuff like that. And the second one is where the new story mode stuff comes in. So it's like, that's been known since day one.
The guy was like, I was like, okay, that sucks that I guess it's not very good, but then I started looking through it, and I mean, the only thing that horrifies me is the idea of dressing up as Tingle, and like, God.
Oh, I look forward to it.
I think it's just some people haven't accepted that nowadays games are going to have DLC.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's not that there is DLC, it's what the DLC is.
I love that there's DLC.
I think DLC can be good. Like in this case, adding some cool new extras and more story to the game.
We're long past the days of horse armor, essentially.
Yeah. DLC to me just seems like content that should be in the game, but we're going to charge you money for instead.
It kind of depends for me. There's certain companies that absolutely do that.
But it's slowly
getting better now.
Progressing away from that.
Yeah.
the guy was just like, oh, Nintendo has done such a good job with DLC, like Mario Kart being a good example, but now clearly like they don't know what they're doing anymore.
Oh my
And
god, they
like,
dropped the ball on one game because they couldn't fill your
Nintendo's
ridiculous
done,
expectations.
They got closed doors now.
Yeah,
I was like,
time to
what?
wrap it up.
Okay, besides Mario
Breath
Kart
of
and
the Wild,
Smash,
2 out of 10.
What other game have they done DLC for, really? I can't think of anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's only 2 they've done.
Yeah.
It hasn't been much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the other ones I can think of have all been free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's move on to our discussion topic of the week. Thank you very much, Kevin, for coming up with a list of this stuff. You came up with some good discussion topics, but I particularly enjoyed games that you enjoy but you're bad at.
Oh.
Yeah. I can start with this so you guys think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Because it took me a while to think about like games I'm bad at that I like playing.
I've got a really good answer
Yeah.
for this.
But for me, it would be a game that I think you're actually good at, Tim.
Okay.
Rhythm games.
Okay, fair enough.
I like the music in the games and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But just playing them, I'm not the best at it. Or
Right.
anything. Like sometimes they're difficult.
And there's this weird level for rhythm games too, where it's like you can play like the baby easy mode, but it's just way too
that's what I'm saying.
easy. There's this weird middle ground where you're not bad at rhythm games and you get the initial like idea of them, but like you're not good enough to play at a level that's fun.
Yeah.
And there's this awkward transitional phase in basically any rhythm game ever where you're just kind of stuck there and you either have to push through or you have to just give up and enjoy it vicariously through somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one
I
example,
understand that.
Yeah. Can I say like Guitar Hero for a good example? We kind of like you start with the 3 strings, easy enough.
Yeah, and that gets
fourth
super
string,
boring.
Yeah,
And then
that
it
fourth
goes
string you
straight
get
to 5.
you go 4 like I can do this.
And 5 is
like,
an
once in a
undertaking
while.
since you have to move
5
your
you
fingers
just
around.
go like, okay, I can't do this.
Yeah.
My coordination doesn't work.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Huh.
For me, it would be the Metal Gear Solid series. Absolutely that, because I've never been great at stealth games, and I crack under pressure. But I enjoy the gameplay for them. I enjoy the storylines. I enjoy, like, when we played 2, like, a year ago or so. Like, I really liked watching you guys play, like, Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. Like, that was a lot of fun, and I think that the lore is super interesting. I think the characters are great. Like, I love the Metal Gear Solid series.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking bad at them, and I will never sit down and play them myself.
Oh.
Yeah. There's 2 for me.
Okay.
First one, I tried it for a long time, and I liked a lot of stuff from it, and I've already brought it up in this cast, is World of Warcraft. I can do the solo stuff and even like some of like the dungeon stuff.
Yeah.
But like one of the biggest draws in that is PvP.
Oh.
I am god awful because the way they've set up combat is like whoever jumps and spins around each other the fastest will enchantedly lands hits. Like some people are just good at that. I need to be able to focus and like coordinate and chain my moves in the right order, and I can't do that if I'm constantly having to spin and jump just to luckily land a hit. Also, same line of thought, fighting games. There's a few I can just mash the buttons and I do things right and I can have fun in it, but I'm never going to be good at. But I like the idea of fighting games because it's like a very technical one-on-one fight. I just can't get those technicals. It's not like WoW, where it's just chaos and whoever's better at chaos wins. This is more technical.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's whole like meta games behind it and everything. There's like certain techniques
and I just
or
don't
certain
have that.
skills and
I don't
abilities.
have that. I can't master that. I can do like PC stuff and I can do some cool stuff with a controller, but my left thumb is never going to operate that well.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. And like, there's certain
fumble my
fighting
way.
games that I'm better at than others. Like typically,
I can Zangief because it's
spin to win.
just spinning in a circle, and I can do that with my left thumb. I can't do like the super technical stuff.
Yeah, like there's certain games I'm better at than others. Like typically more fast-paced games, like King of Fighters or like the Marvel vs. Capcom series.
Okay.
Like I can kind of hold my own at, and I'm nowhere near like a competitive level.
Yeah,
or anything.
and that's
but
fine.
it's like I can clear like story mode and be
I'm
okay.
not even that though. I am lucky at Zangief, and I try a bit at like Ken.
Yeah.
But like any other game, I'm just garbage.
Yeah, I'm not really great at the Street Fighter series. I haven't really had a whole lot of luck with that.
That's the only one I'm mediocre in.
I am terrible at basically any 3D fighter, like Soul Calibur, Tekken, stuff like that.
See,
Like
I love those.
Yeah.
Oh man, they're way too different to me, and I
They're
can't do
fun.
that at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one.
I'm thinking back. I think there's like one like at the Scandia, like on arcade that you were playing.
King of Fighters 13.
Was that one?
Yeah, they got KOF 13. They got they had a Tatsunoko versus Capcom
Okay,
arcade.
I thought
cabinet,
I remember watching you play one of those.
Yeah.
Like, interesting.
Yeah, I was playing those, and I like those a lot.
Yeah.
A game that I really appreciate and that I think, that I think are awesome, but I would never be able to do are character action games.
That's a good one. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a really good one.
I think.
God, what did I think?
Because Jessica needs one too.
Yeah. I can see games like Bayonetta. I think that it's really impressive watching someone play that.
For sure.
But I just don't do combos because I don't really feel like memorizing things because I'm lazy. And I feel like just playing Kingdom Hearts and mashing the X button to win. So,
yeah, there's a lot of finesse that goes into character
Yeah.
action. Those
See,
games are very unforgiving as
I
far as
have
they're
found
developing.
work. I like those games because yes, you can do the combos, and that's clearly the way you're supposed to be done. It's probably the fastest way. I like to play those games to find workarounds for all that shit.
Yeah.
To sneakily cheese the shit out of. I think that's
Fair.
my favorite thing about that genre is people play that super straightforward, and that's fine. I find the easiest way to cheese that shit.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah. Like
Dark
Souls.
I love to cheese in Dark Souls.
Oh,
as
Dark
much
Souls
as
isn't
possible.
character action. though.
Yeah.
So
It kind of is.
No, it's
No,
not.
no.
I was
No,
actually
not
going
even
to
close.
ask if Bloodborne or
No.
So what kind of game is
Point
that
of view.
then?
It's an action game.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, character action and stuff like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, like the really
Beautiful
fast
Joe.
paced. Yeah, Beautiful Joe to an extent.
Yeah, to an
Yeah.
extent,
101.
it's similar.
Wonderful 101. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I wanna
Basically
think
anything Clover Studios or Platinum has made.
But there's still a lot of cheese in those games. And
Oh yeah, no, I won't deny
That's
that.
my
Yeah.
bread and butter. I lump Dark Souls in because there's a lot to cheese in. And
Yeah,
it's-
but yeah, that is definitely a different type of game.
Yeah.
it is a bit
It's a lot more slower paced. It's a lot more like methodical, kind
Yeah.
of.
That's true. I'm picturing like someone
Not
like,
the way I
running
do
with
it.
an axe.
You
know?
if you do it, if there's they give
It's
you the
initial
option to do a
gameplay.
speed build,
Yeah.
and you can build a character in that game.
Yeah, but
to
even a
have
speed
a
build.
samurai sword and just run constantly swinging at his ankles.
Yeah, dude, but like even
Yeah, you can.
like a speed build in Dark Souls isn't gonna have you like dashing around this huge open map, like juggling 6 or 7 enemies at a time.
It's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, those games are crazy, and I would love to be at least decent at them because I really want to experience
Oh
those.
yeah, because I see people playing them and I just go, God, like that's crazy. I
Yeah.
don't know how they can.
I threw myself at the first third of Bayonetta, and I just kind of got impatient because I got the PS3 version, and the loading times are awful. But now that it's out on PC, I might give it another shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably should.
Okay. Yeah. Any you guys got anything else?
I got one
Okay.
Yeah.
that I brought up to you before, and this is something. It starts in anime again because I'm a weeb. A lot of things start in anime for
fine.
me, but it expands to a lot of
Okay.
greater storytelling just in general
Yeah.
around the world.
That's fine.
DBZ, especially with the launch and continuation of Dragon Ball Z
Okay.
Super,
Yeah.
there's a problem with power level inflation.
When
And
you're done,
I
I have
put
something to say.
I put the link in there into our
Yes.
Discord to talk about this, and it's something that comes up everywhere. Now, once you really look at it, it's everywhere. Even in American comics and movies and other things, it's
Yeah.
where they keep upping how big the challenge is, and then Goku or Vegeta attain some new power level to meet it, and the producer, people started to complain about this, like, how do we kind of really
Yeah.
understand how powerful Goku is when there's always somebody new to challenge him in the exact same way, and when he has to attain some new level of power to defeat them, how powerful is he compared to his original self now that he's Super Saiyan God 9.8?
Yeah. Right.
And it's everywhere. It's in American comics, like how do you keep a character refreshing? And their answer has always been, oh, we'll make him more extreme. And it's like, you see good character story building here and there. Like One Punch Man, it's a satire on the whole thing.
yeah.
Yes.
But like, it's prevalent everywhere in all facets of entertainment.
Kevin, you look like you're squirming. What do you got?
Yeah.
Okay. So, going with Dragon Ball Z. Since the Saiyan Saga, after that finished, power levels are bullshit.
Yeah.
They do not matter anymore.
That's 100% right.
Yeah.
They not. Every fight they ever had, they always been underpowered than the other one.
Mm.
They fight to prove resistance and someone just kill them that way. So, and then the saga was supposed to end after Cell. That was supposed to be the end of the series.
Yep.
And they had a good story going with it. But then people were demanding, like, we wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Boo saga happened, and they were kind of going, like, we're gonna juggle it. Okay, we got through the Boo saga. You guys happy?
Well, that's when
No, we
Akira
want GT now.
Toriyama said, no, that's the end. I'm done.
Yeah.
And he finished.
Yeah.
He finished the comics.
Yeah. Like, someone can do it well. Like, I understand you're saying from other ones, too.
Well, like,
Which I haven't seen too much of.
It's in American comics. It's in American movies. Like, setting aside,
Yeah.
like, Marvel movies and DC movies, look at things like Die Hard, where, like, he, over time, instead of a man
Oh,
struggling...
yeah, Bruce Willis was just a dude in an office building at the wrong time.
Yeah.
That's why Die Hard 1 and 3 are the best out of all 5.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because it's
100%.
it's a man or two men in respectively how you want to take slice number 1, struggling in a impossible confined situation.
That's what makes it interesting.
And
Exactly.
you might
Yeah.
say, oh, number 3 is just as bad as 4 or 5. No, because they're very confined in where they can go in New York, because they're on a deadline, because they're being forced to go to these locations. They're confined in the city by this villain's
It's
plan.
the situation that makes
exactly.
it interesting.
The situation. But then they kind of threw it out the window with 4 and 5 and just, oh, he's the badass cop running out everywhere doing whatever he wants.
Big action movie
and, like,
explosion
this
thing,
happens
yeah.
everywhere now.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons
It's just,
why. Like,
that's what
sorry.
people want. That's the problem.
But it's
People
not
want
even
action movies.
It's not
that
even
they
action
expect.
though, and that's the thing that I realized is
Expendables.
it's it's not just
Yeah, because
action
people are
though.
still watching those.
It's
watch
everything.
them.
Like, look at comedy. You had the British Office, and then they made the American The Office, and people loved it, and they wanted it so much that they just kept coming up with new, wacky, weirder ways to up the Office feel in a weirder situation, until you have Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I don't care who you are, if you love that show, it's not good.
There are more
Watch it,
bad
talk about
episodes of The Simpsons than good ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Family
Parks and
Guy
Rec
has
was good.
devolved into a
Parks and
bunch
Rec was
of
good
weird
because that was,
self-referential
like,
things.
The one step further. First, it was the British Office, super dry satire about a boring office. Then their American one, where it got kind of silly and weird.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they're
they're
like, we really
dry.
like the silly and weird. Let's try and cram silly and weird into that office space. Parks and Rec, and that was good, and it had a good run.
Yeah.
But now you have shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and like
Yeah.
kind of Modern Family, but not Modern Family because they do that differently. But you have like Life in Pieces and other things where they're trying to cram this, you know, mockumentary
Look at the
format,
camera and like
talking heads thing
For sure.
into this. And like Community made a really great point in like season 2 or 3 where like Abed does his documentary episode at the hospital,
yeah.
and he repeatedly points out how this is just how things are. This is what's going on in any documentary, and it's like people see something amazing and they want it more, but instead of people or producers or directors or writers trying to like reinvent it or come at it from a good angle to captivate people again in a new way, they just try and one-up each other.
Yeah.
And it's making everything, all forms of entertainment, stale, and it's getting worse.
That was pretty interesting, linking like going from action movies to comedy, but like it still makes sense.
No,
I like
and,
that. I
and
like
it-
that.
And again, it started in Dragon Ball Z, and like the producer says, "Oh, don't worry, we've got more surprises for Goku ahead to keep things interesting." And it's like,
So-
I don't want surprises that are just going to be the same shit.
Going back to Dragon Ball Z, and I know that like a lot of other things are guilty of this, but DBZ is just like the easiest thing to do that. You specifically mentioned we have more surprises for Goku coming up,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Well,
the-
Goku slash Vegeta.
well, here's
Honestly,
the thing: is
because
like
but-
if one of them doesn't solve the problem, it's the other.
So for me, okay, the power level thing has always been bullshit to me. I've always thought it was like the stupidest
it's
discussion,
dumb.
the
Like,
stupidest argument ever.
9,000.
The thing that really bugs me about that, though, is like you're right. Every arc, there's like a new villain that's more powerful, and then like Goku and Vegeta have to get more powerful, and blah blah blah, and it's like it's just stacking up on top of each other. It's a vicious cycle.
What the original series was.
Here's the thing. Yeah, well, you're right in that sense, but the big thing that bugs me about that is with every single power jump those two take, every other character in the series becomes more and more useless. To the point that, like, Krillin and Yamcha and Piccolo, like, they aren't even side characters anymore. They're background clutter.
And that's
like,
the
who
crux
gives a
of the
shit
other thing
about
that
them?
I was talking about is, like, how do you compare them? Like, they say Goku is
They're
God
uncomparable.
9.8, whatever.
They're
but there's-
uncomparable. Krillin's literally a dad now.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing, is, like, how do you... There's no comparison beyond Vegeta, who just then, like, next season gets the same power-up.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is, like, in it branches into everything, like I was saying, like, you have Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where, like, they decided, well, okay, so Parks and Rec was such a big success because everybody was kind of wacky and zany. So instead of coming up with new kinds of zany in a different format, they're like, let's just make everybody super wacky, zany in their own way with one straight man.
There's a term for it, and it's flanderization. It's when a character from a show becomes basically self-parody of that character.
Yeah.
And it's, Community suffered from that hard.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Real hard. But, it's something that a lot of sitcoms do, where you basically have, like, the wacky, quirky character, like in Community's case it was Abed.
Yeah.
And the show realizes that a lot of people like that character, and they push him harder and harder and harder, or to the point where, like, they become basically the main character. And it's like, I hate to bring this show up because I fucking hate it, but like Big Bang Theory, when that show started off, like, the four of them were pretty equal, and now it's who was it, Leonard?
Yeah, Leonard.
Yeah, it's Leonard. Sheldon, thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Sheldon. It's all about Sheldon now. Nobody cares about any of the other characters. It's his weird, quirky autism awkwardness that brings everybody in.
Yeah. And this happens in a lot of different genres, like serial dramas. They're trying to one up each other, and like they'll go like, oh, what's more scandalous than the president secretly, running a cult on the side or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that's why things like House of Cards and like a lot of original Netflix stuff, because they've had a couple flops and they're willing to take chances, and I'm more impressed with them for taking chances like Fox used to and sticking with it, unlike Fox ever did.
Yeah.
But I'm more impressed with them taking chances on stuff, and like they made Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage all fantastic successes. And then you have Iron Fist, which everybody was hopeful for, but it turned into a flop, even though it didn't have to be. Like, setting aside the whole however you feel about the SJW whitewashing.
That's a completely different argument.
Setting that aside, like, they could have made the story and the characters much deeper, setting aside their nationalities and races.
Yeah, I've heard just as a show, it doesn't have a leg to stand on.
It does not work. I gave it a chance. I watched it. It does not work. But they took the chance and they made all of these shows anyway, and they've learned. They learn from each of their mistakes.
Yeah,
they're getting better.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to what we're looking forward to.
I have to say, without question, I'm looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy's coming out.
Yeah.
I'm debating seeing it Thursday night. Could be a 7:30
Oh,
showing.
man. Oh, it's a 7:30 show on Thursday?
Really?
Yeah, so I can actually make that.
See, I can't
and then
go
I can leave and go to San
it
Francisco
comes
for my
out
hockey
next
game.
week.
This
week.
This
I
weekend.
can't go.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because I work 12 hours a day,
God.
10 to 10, Wednesday through Saturday.
Oh, but
gosh.
Sunday, though.
But Sunday.
Sunday is your time
It's
to
gonna be like
shine,
dead.
buddy.
Except I gotta clean and like go to Novato after.
No.
So
no.
Monday maybe.
It's like 2 hours. You'll find time.
Hey, Andy needs his one day a week to clean himself.
He needs his one day a week to lose
Exactly.
himself in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'll go eventually.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
The
I heard
thing
good things
I'm
about it.
really looking forward to is, and they just announced, they released a teaser trailer for it today, is Code Vein.
Oh, that Namco thing coming out, right?
It's
Code
they
Veronica?
no, it's
No.
Code Vein. like a vein in your body.
Okay.
Vampires.
It's
What?
it's
Vampire
not
Diaries, got it.
exactly by the Dark Souls team, but they've had people from Dark Souls come work on it,
Huh.
and it is a character action game, not RPG, but character action game in kind of a Bloodborne style that's set in a post-apocalyptic future with overemphasized crazy vampire monsters and characters.
Huh.
You're these two characters kind of working through the post-apocalyptic wasteland after vampirism takes over the world. You know, kind of a thing.
Interesting. I haven't heard of it.
They dropped a teaser trailer.
It looks
for
like a
today.
brand new thing, yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it because I would love to see a character action game done by some of the people from Dark Souls and other parts of Bandai Namco.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be cool.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
Okay.
It
Kevin,
looks-
anything on your
It
list?
looks really good.
Well, my plan is to buy this weekend, finish up Tales,
Okay.
but besides that, not really. Like, I'm not sure I'm going to play afterwards. I did buy, like, the Kingdom Hearts collection.
Okay.
So I'm
Oh,
thinking
really?
about I'm thinking
Okay.
about going through those games.
I was sort of thinking about doing that, but it's like we got both of those for PS3, and it's like,
Yeah.
as far as I know, there was no difference.
Yeah, just, like, higher things.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to play those again at some point.
Yeah. Like, I'm having some ideas with them. I'm not sure how I want to do it.
Mhm.
But, yeah.
Splatoon 2 is going to be on my list until July when it comes out. So I'm going to be
But
saying that
that's-
like every week for a while here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aside from that, like I'm mainly looking forward to playing like more Mario Kart
Yeah.
and unlocking stuff from there because I'm working on like I got all the 200cc cups done. So I've
Congrats
got
on
I've got
that.
that. That was crazy.
Mhm.
But I've got to do time trials. I've got to do I think 150cc and then mirror mode to unlock something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's just coin grinding from there. But I'm looking to unlock like all the gold shit.
Yeah.
And then it's just I'd like to get online. I'd like to play with friends and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Aside from that, nothing that I can think of that's coming out like really soon.
Yeah, like I looked earlier today, I didn't see much coming out from Medic. The
Mhm.
beginning of this year was just big with releases and everything coming out.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And then now it's kind of getting to that
A
slow
little bit
part
of a
until the
lull
end.
before
Yeah.
summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aside from that, like Jessica said, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2. That's gonna
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah.
I guess that Zelda DLC whenever that's supposed to drop.
Yeah,
July.
and the
Or no,
ukulele.
June. Okay.
Yeah.
And the ukulele update. I think
Oh,
that
yeah,
would be
huh.
nice because they fixed like the camera and
They added pause music.
They had.
I know it's
pause
such a stupid
now.
little thing, but I'm super excited
Yeah,
for
just
that.
tweeted that.
For sure.
Oh, that reminds me, Tim, about something I showed you yesterday that you thought was ridiculous. The guy who did the air horn remix.
Oh god.
He's done Banjo-Kazooie.
Of
Oh my
course.
God.
Of course.
I'm gonna link that to you.
Oh jeez.
I know you won't look at it,
I
but
probably will. No, I'll take a look. I'll take a look.
Oh, that's great.
Let's see. Coming up on the Twitch channel, we've got you were playing Donkey Kong Country yesterday.
Mhm.
That was going really well. I looked at
Whoa.
it was going mostly well.
Okay.
Mostly
Well,
well.
Mostly
I mean,
well. Okay.
I was almost gonna say
I
Donkey
was-
Kong Country is the
I was
game that I
enjoying
like,
it.
but I'm not good
I
at.
was waiting to see if
I
you'd
was
say that.
almost gonna say that,
I was
but
super waiting for that.
I don't know.
I was looking at. I've got a poll on the Twitter page right now, so I think that by the time I post this, it'll still be up for like a day or so.
Yeah.
But basically, if we're gonna be playing Donkey Kong Country or moving on to 2 next week,
Yeah.
and right now it's tied, you assholes.
I have a problem with this.
I voted in that.
I have a problem that I
was
can't
tied,
vote in this.
Why not?
You don't have a Twitter account?
Exactly.
I'll get one then.
You're trying to conform me
Yeah.
to join Twitter.
I'll get
get
like a
it.
straw poll going too.
I
I'll get a
mean-
straw poll.
Tim, if I get a Twitter account, you know how much I'm going to be putting stupid shit on that?
Probably
As much as
probably a
Andy
lot.
talks.
Oh my god.
It's a lot. That's basically what Twitter's there for.
All or none.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Go all in. Yeah, let's see. We're gonna be doing more Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time on
Yeah.
Wednesdays, and we're gonna be playing Lego Harry Potter. Here's 1 through 4 on Fridays, and that'll be fun. Yeah, I'll try to get this. This will be. I mean, if you're listening to this, you'll probably know, but I don't know which venue you're gonna be listening to it on. I'll upload them on SoundCloud. And I'm not super familiar with the website, so I'm hoping there's a way to like directly download that for people who want to listen on the go and whatnot. It'll be up on YouTube as well. The YouTube page is n00bles and Company. SoundCloud's going to be soundcloud.com/Cup of Noodles. Our Twitch page is twitch.tv/Cup of Noodles. Aside from that, yeah, just those 3 games.
Yeah.
Alright guys, I think we'll wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for listening. And I don't know how to end this. How are we going to end this?
Unplugging the mic.
just yank that mic out. All right,
Wow.
I
Okay.
can do that.
No, well, don't.
Well,
actually.
I'm not actually.
Thank you for
going
listening to
do
our
that.
first
It's okay,
podcast.
Tim. I've got
Yeah, thank
scissors
you.
right here.
Perfect.
Oh
Just
my God.
snip that shit.